Starhawk's engines growled defiance through Proxima Relay's asteroid labyrinth, jagged rocks tumbling past viewports like cosmic dice in a gambler's frenzy. Caleb Hayes gripped the yoke, sweat beading on his brow as proximity alarms wailed crimson. His twin brother Dylan Voss manned the dorsal turret, swiveling to track pirate skiffs darting between boulders like feral wasps. The freighter's hull rang with micro-impacts, grit-peppering scanners with static snow. 3 on our 6, closing fast. Dylan barked, plasma bolts stitching void behind them. Flush him, or eat railgun. Caleb banked hard, thrusters flaring blue-white, centrifugal force slamming them into harnesses. Patience, mirror me. Let him cluster. Boarding klaxon shrieked, grapples locked. Airlocks cycled violently, admitting a figure cloaked in iridescent vacuum suit, skin shimmering opal beneath torn fabric. Sierra Blake wrenched off her helmet, lattice veins pulsing faint under alien hybrid cheeks, clutching a sword longer than moral sense. Obsidian blade etched with glyphs that hummed hunger. Pirates inbound, she gasped, accent lilting star exile. This, family blade. Yours. Dylan lunged for the hilt mid-charge. Pirate breaching the cargo bay with stun lances crackling. Blade ignited apocalypse. 5,000-year plasma, sheath erupting violet fury. Scorching air with ozone bite and ancestral scream. Dylan staggered, veins glowing twin-match to Caleb's sudden flare across the deck. What sorcery? Pirate choked, lance melting to slag. Caleb snatched Dylan's shoulder, twin sense igniting. Shared pulse, mirrored adrenaline. Ours now. Back off, scum. Jax, the cyborg engineer, sprawled in his socket rig. Optic whirring amusement amid sparking consoles. Alert. Meat bags reactivated family heirlooms. Warning. May cause spontaneous glowing and poor life choices. Pirates recoiled. Blade's plasma corona painting bulkheads hellfire. Sierra's lattice eyes widened reverence. Voss clan forged it. Human explorers, pre-Dominion. My blood exiled for carrying Echo. Caleb parried a desperate lunge, blade singing through armor like rice paper. Dylan flanking seamless. Twin HFY instinct weaving strikes before thoughts formed. Sierra dove low. Hybrid claws raking throats. Romance sparking in her wild grin mirroring his. Exile Y. Caleb grunted, plasma trail cauterizing a boarder's arm. Hybrid taint, she spat, kicking the corpse aside. Helix purists hunt relics and wielders. The deck shuddered, pirate corvette tractor pulling. Jack's hack countermeasures, Vox dripping sarcasm. Tractor beams, romantic. Like cosmic handcuffs for your date night. Dylan decoupled grapples with a blade thrust through deck plate. Violet arc shorting enemy engines. Starhawk lurched free, Caleb punching engines to redline toward nebula storms boiling crimson ahead. Sword map activating. Sierra breathe. Glyphs unscrolling hollow chart across mess table. Genesis vaults pulsing forbidden across uncharted voids. First cluster, Vortex Prime. But Dominion tracks relics. Caleb met her gaze, pulse sinking alien warm. Then we beat him there. Family first. Nebraska-born heart tugged. Dockside brawls with Dylan under sodium lamps. Now star maps under alien gaze. Sierra leaned close, lattice fingertip brushing his glowing vein. Voss blood woke it. Helix dreads that fire. Jax rolled optic. Dread? They're peeing plasma. Pro tip. Swords don't come with easy mode. Asteroids thinned. Nebula tendrils clawing viewport. Plasma storms crackling lightning veins. Pirate remnants pursued. Lasers painting hull blisters. Caleb and Dylan man guns tandem. Twin bluff initiating. Feign engine stall. Bait cluster. Then barrel roll ambush. 3-2. Caleb synced. Dylan's barrage shredded lead skiff. Caleb's strafe flanks. Sierra amplified Blade's plasma into arc whip, lashing Corvette bridge to fireworks. Starhawk surged into the nebula's heart, storms cloaking escape. Jax patched hull breaches, muttering, next time, invite pirate for tea. Less hull therapy. Mess deck settled, Crew circling table under sword's patient glow. Sierra traced Caleb's jaw, romance blooming raw. My ancestors armed yours. Destiny loops. Dylan clinked synth beer. Twins handle loops. Welcome aboard, Bladekin. But scanners pinged. Dominion signatures slicing nebula haze. Vault hunting armada inbound. Adventure ignited. Forbidden Genesis beckoned amid family flames. Starhawk barreled through Proxima Relay's asteroid maelstrom. Caleb Hayes wrestling the yoke as house-sized rocks spun past viewports like drunken boulders. Dylan Voss raked dorsal guns across pirate skiffs, plasma stitching void while grapples thudded hull. Boarding alert screaming bloody murder. A figure breached airlock in a storm of venting Atmo, iridescent skin gleaming under ripped vacuum suit. Sierra Blake, clutching an obsidian sword that whispered ancient hungers. Pirates lock your tail, she yelled, lattice eyes flaring alien sharp. This, Ancestor blade. Yours. Dylan snatched hilt to gut check a boarder, blade detonating 5,000-year plasma inferno. Violet corona scorching bulkheads with ozone tang and primal roar. Veins ignited twin match Caleb's across the deck, shared adrenaline spiking like live wires. Jax, cyborg engineer socketed amid sparking panels, optic word glee. Meat bags lit the family antiques. Side effects, glowing veins, instant vendettas. Pirates stumbled back from Hellfire Edge, stun lances slagging to puddles. Caleb parried wild swing, blade parting armor like wet cloth, Dylan flanking seamless. HFY mirror strikes flowing pre-thought. Sierra slashed low with hybrid claws, feral grin sinking Caleb's pulse. Exiled for what? Caleb growled, plasma cauterizing border stumps. Hybrid blood, Sierra hissed. Helix Dominion purges Relican. Hull groaned under the pirate corvette's tractor yank. Jax jacked countermeasures, sarcasm thick. Tractor beams, Galaxy's worst pickup line. Dylan blade spiked, deck plate. Violet arc frying enemy drives. Caleb redlined engines toward nebula storms frothing electric crimson ahead. Sierra's glyphs unrolled holomap across the mess table. Forbidden Genesis vaults pulsing Vortex Prime's heart. Vosklan forged it for your explorers, she breathed, fingertip tracing Caleb's glowing vein. They dread that spark. Romance kindled raw, her lattice warmth against Nebraska grit. Dylan clinked synthalash. Twin zone sparks. Board permanent, blade sis. Nebraska storms swallowed Starhawk, lightning veining viewports while pirates lashed failing shots. Caleb/Dylan gunnery tandem bluff stall, baited cluster, then barrel roll shredded lead ships. Sierra's arc whip lashed Corvette bridge to slag fireworks. Jack's patched breeches, griping. Pirates, oh hull repair tab. The crew circled sword glow, Sierra leaning into Caleb's orbit. Destiny hilt deep now. Scanners pinged Dominion armada, cutting haze. Vault hunters closing fast. Adventure roared alive. Starhawk knifed deeper into Proxima Relay's rock-choked void. Caleb Hayes' knuckles white on the yoke as fist-sized asteroids pinged hull like shotgun blasts. Dylan Voss swiveled dorsal turret, hosing plasma across pirate skiffs that danced between tumbling boulders, their boarding grapples already kissing airlock seals with metallic clangs. Breach alarms wailed as Sierra Blake exploded through the hatch. Iridescent skin slick with sweat, lattice veins throbbing under alien hybrid features, obsidian sword gripped like a grudge older than stars. Pirates clamped your six, she snarled, accent thick with exile bite. Ancestor blade, test it. Dylan lunged hilt first at the first border, sword detonating 5,000-year slumber. Plasma corona blazing violet hell, bulkheads charring with ozone sting and thunderous ancestral howl. His veins flared luminous, Caleb's mirroring across the deck in twin-sync adrenaline that hummed bone-deep. Jax's optic spun wild from his sparking socket rig. Meat bags fired up Grandma's butter knife. Expect glowing rashes and vendetta coupons. Pirates reeled from the plasma blaze, stun lances melting into glowing puddles. Caleb snatched a swing, Blade slicing vac suit and flesh like overripe fruit, Dylan mirroring flank attack before neurons fired. HFY twin flow, pure instinct. Sierra raked hybrid claws across throats, her feral smirk locking Caleb's gaze mid-slaughter. Exile Y. Caleb rasped, violet edge cauterizing border stumps with sizzle pop. Hybrid scum. Sierra spat, kicking a limp corpse. Helix purists torch relic bloodlines. Corvette tractor beam yanked hard, deck groaning protest. Jack counterhacks, Vox dripping acid. Tractor cuddle, romantic as vacuum asphyxia. Dylan spike thrusted through deck plate. Plasma arc shorting enemy engines to fireworks. Caleb punched engines toward nebula storms frothing electric move ahead. Viewport, lightning clawing close. Sierra's blade glyphs bloomed holomap over the mess table. Genesis vaults pulsing vortex primes molten core. Voss clan built it for your kind. She murmured, lattice finger tracing Caleb's glowing vein intimate. They fear the human wildfire. Raw romance sparked. Nebraska steel meeting star exile hunger. Dylan cracked synthalish. Twins fan wildfires. Claim your bunk, Bladekin. Nebraska's electric tendrils engulfed Starhawk. Pirate lasers glancing off storm shields. Caleb Dylan gunnery duet bluffed power dive. Lured pack tight. Then corkscrew ambush pulped lead hunters. Sierra's plasma whip cracked the Corvette bridge into slag confetti. Jack's welded breeches, muttering, pirates stiffed on docking fees. Crew huddled under sword's patient radiance. Sierra orbiting Caleb's gravity. Hilt deep destiny now. Scanners screamed. Dominion Armada, slicing storm veils. Relic stalkers inbound hot. Adventures fuse, lit galactic. Starhawk sliced through the Carina Nebula's electric tendrils. Plasma storms crackling across hull plates like cosmic violins strung with lightning. Caleb Hayes clutched the obsidian sword's humming hilt strapped to his thigh. Violet glyphs pulsing faint through the scabbard as Helix Dominion Raiders swarmed their six. Sleek lances spewing Azure Seeker missiles that bloomed fire flowers in the glowing haze. Dylan Voss danced fingers across the tactical console, syncing twin reflexes to plot micro-jumps between ionized clouds. Starhawk pirouetting through kill zones with balletic precision. 8 bogeys vectoring tight. Dylan growled, eyes flicking Caleb's mirror image. Flush or fake? Caleb grinned feral, twin sense humming anticipation. Bait the noose. Then kick the hangman. Sierra Blake hunched over the hollow table, lattice fingers dancing across sword-decoded glyphs that unspooled forbidden star charts. Genesis vault clusters winking like buried supernovas across uncharted rim sectors. Vortex prime first, she murmured, iridescent skin aglow with map light. But these shadow vaults. Helix buried them post-purge. Jax's chassis word from his engineering nook, optic jacked into enemy comms nets. Firewalls weeping louder than your dockside puppy eyes, Captain. Shall I whisper sweet nothings? Deactivate, or we'll cuddle your reactors to meltdown. Raiders closed, torpedoes painting viewport hell. Caleb yanked yoke, Starhawk corkscrewing through a gas torus that detonated pursuing missiles in rainbow shrapnel. Dylan triggered decoy flares, twin bluff igniting. Feign shield cascade, lure alpha strike, then reverse thrust ambush. Raiders dove greedy, Starhawk snap rolled, Dylan's point defense lasers scoring 3 in synchronized heartbeat. Twins 1, Tin Kinsrow, Dylan hooped. Mess deck later, synth coffee steaming amid nebula glow, Caleb leaned into Sierra's orbit. Parents went dark hauling, or from Epsilon Eridani. One squawk, then static. Sierra's lattice eyes dimmed clan purge flashbacks. Prism towers torched. Hybrid kin scattered to void winds. Voss elders burned for polluting bloodlines. Blade survived. Barely. Caleb cupped her palm, thumb tracing vein glow matching his. Stars steel family. We steal back. Romance kindled raw. Her alien warmth melting Nebraska ice. Jax interrupted Vox. Romance interrupt. Derelict ahead. Helix station. Vault key cache probable. Mutants optional. Starhawk docked hard to the spinning husk. Airlock grinding against corroded seals. 0G, corridors, stretched claustrophobic. Bioluminescent fungi, pulsing sickly green along walls, oozing unknown ichor. Mutants scuttled. Spindly limbs clicking, lamp eyes glaring from vents, claws snicking alloy floors. Flank low. Caleb hissed, sword drawn humming hunger. Dylan mirrored high, blades synced plasma duet through first ambush. Mutant torsos parting in cauterized halves. Sierra's claws flashed silver, hybrid grace weaving between strikes. Jax's drones buzzed vanguard, lasers popping eyes. Mutants, nature's no trespassing signs. I prefer holograms. Deeper, vault chamber yawned. Crystalline keys floating in stasis webs. Sierra's eyes flared ancestral fire, visions cascading. Ancient Voss Smiths quenching blades in human blood oaths, Helix betrayal shattering alliances. She yanked Caleb into a desperate kiss amid the glow, lips tasting of stardust and defiance. An explosion rocked the station, mutants swarm, horde charging. Dylan body-blocked plasma burst, shielding Sierra, chestplate vaporizing, flesh searing crimson. He crumpled, sword flaring empathetic, violet plasma flooding his veins, knitting muscle around bone in agonizing glow. Brother! Caleb roared, blade channeling twin HFY surge. Dylan staggered up, eyes blazing amplified. Upgrade accepted. Let's carve keys. They shredded hordes, keys clutched tight. Starhawk blasted clear as the station imploded behind. Nebula storms cloaking escape to Vortex Prime. Sword pulsed fresh coordinates, deeper perils, vault clusters beckoning with galactic fangs. Starhawk carved through Carina Nebula's ionized claws. Caleb Hayes white-knuckling the yoke as azure missiles bloomed fire orbs in the glowing murk. Dylan Voss synced tactical overlays, twin reflexes plotting corkscrew evasions between plasma eddies, Helix Dominion lances tightening the noose with surgical laser grids. The obsidian sword thrummed at Caleb's thigh, violet glyphs flickering impatient through scabbard leather. 9 hunters, pinch maneuver, Dylan barked. Bluff or burn. Caleb's grin mirrored wickedness. Play dead. Then, gut the corner. Sierra Blake traced hologlyphs across the mess table, star charts blooming forbidden. Genesis vaults glittering like neutron stars in rim voids. Vortex Prime leads, she breathed, lattice veins pulsing map glow across iridescent cheeks. Shadow clusters hidden post-blood purge. Jax's optic pirouette from his jacked console, slicing enemy voxnets. Firewall sob louder than your star-crossed whispers, lovers. Try. Surrender or we'll hug your fusion cores till they pop. Romantic no. Raiders pounced torpedoes. Caleb snap-rolled Starhawk through gas rings. Decoy blooms vaporizing pursuers in prismatic slag. Twin bluff detonated. Feigned power brownout lured Alpha Pack. Dylan's point defense carving synchronized heart shots. 3 lances scoring instant. Family score, Dylan fist bumped air. Synth coffee steamed later under nebula veins, painting bulkheads psychedelic. Caleb's palm engulfed Sierra's, thumb circling her glowing lattice. Eridani hollers, parents' last ping cut mid-laugh. Yours. Sierra's eyes shadowed clan pyres. Hybrid towers ashed. Voskin void scattered. Purists torched impure forgers. Blade endured. Her whisper brushed his scars intimate. Void takes. We reclaim, Caleb vowed, romance raw as asteroid grit. Jack's vox cracked. Cuddle paws, derelict Hulk ahead. Vault keys likely. Mutant welcome party standard. 0G, derelict swallowed them. Corridors cramping with biolum fungi, pulsing venom green, ichor dripping claws, clicking vents. Mutants lunged, spider limbs snaring, maw eyes flaring hate. Low weave. Caleb drew, sword humming ravenous. Dylan high-flanked, identical. Plasma duet parting mutant meat in cauterized fans. Sierra's claws, silver-streaked, lethal ballet. Jack's drones popping optics. Mutants, evolution's piss-off graffiti. Holograms classier. Vault heart bloomed. Stasis crystals clutching keys like frozen tears. Sierra's lattice ignited ancestral torrents. Voss Smith's blood-quenching blades for human packs. Helix knives in back. She crushed Caleb into stardust kisses, explosions, and quaking walls. Mutant tide crashed. Dylan intercept plasma. Chest armor flash vaporizing flesh to charcoal. He dropped, gasping. Sword empath flared. Violet surge knitting ribs around heartbeats. Brother. Caleb roared, blade, twin power spiking. Dylan rose blazing. Firmware patched. Key harvest. Horde pulped, key secured. Starhawk rocketed free as the station collapsed stellar behind. Nebula cloaking vortex prime vector. Swords whispered darker vaults. Perils multiplying exponentially. Starhawk knifed Carina Nebula's plasma veins. Caleb Hayes battling yoke against lightning-lashed eddies while Helix lances spat azure torpedoes blooming slag fire in ionized fog. Dylan Voss mirrored tactical plots. Twin instincts threading micro-jumps through kill corridors. Obsidian swords violet glyphs twitching eager at Caleb's belt. Raiders pinched surgical, laser webs tightening noose. 10 closing, Dylan snapped. Faint or fry. Caleb's smirk doubled. Corpse act. Then Shank, the mortician. Sierra Blake unrolled blade charts over hollow deck. Genesis vaults, sparkling neutron forbidden across rim black. Vortex prime gateway, she whispered, lattice glow veining opal cheeks. Purge shadows buried deeper. Jack's optic danced enemy nets. Firewalls ball worse than your nebula necking captain. Suggest. Yield or wheels smother reactors with affection. Poetry. Torpedoes hunted. Caleb corkscrewed Gastorai. Decoys pulping pursuers prismatic. Twin ruse exploded. Shield feigned drew pack dive. Dylan's lasers scoring sync heartbeats. For Lance's junked instant. Kim lead. Dylan grinned. Coffee steamed nebula psychedelic later. Caleb's calluses cradled Sierra's palm, circling vein fire. Eridani or run. Folks' final chuckle snuffed. You. Sierra's gaze pyre-haunted. Voss towers raised. Hybrid forgers void flung. Purist shed taint. Blade clung. Lips ghosted his jaw raw. Cosmos robs. We raid back. Caleb pledged. Romance asteroid rough. Jack's cut. Smooch break. Wreck ahead. Key vault probable. Bug buffet included. Zero-G Hulk cramped Biolamiker halls. Mutant claws venting skittering. Mog lows hating. Spiders snared lunging. Flank weave. Caleb unsheathed sword ravenous. Dylan high match flowed. Plasma fans bisecting torsos neat. Sierra claws ballet silvered. Jack's drones eye-popping. Mutants. Darwin's get lost murals. Hollow superior. Stasis vault bloomed. Key tears frozen. Sierra's lattice torched Voss blood packs. Helix backstabs flooding. Explosion quake. She dragged Caleb, Starkiss desperate. Horde title. Dylan plasma block Sierra. Chest flashing vapor flesh char. Dropped wheezing. Sword surged violet mend. Ribs heartbeat renit glow pain. Mirror. Caleb bellowed. Twin HFY spiking. Dylan blazed vertically. Patch live. The keys are ripe. Swarm minced. Crystals grabbed. Starhawk fled the station stellar collapse. Nebula veiling vortex prime. Sword hinted abyss vaults. Dangers cubed. Shadowhawk ghosted through fringe shadow lanes. Riley Kane hunched over flickering NAV consoles in the Iron Courier's grimy cockpit. Decade-hardened scars tracing her knuckles like star maps of lost dawns. A decade vanished in smuggling runs. Tech crates stashed under false hulls. Evading Helix Dominion patrols with phantom asteroid dances plotted by T. Nova Kane, her adopted lattice-eyed daughter, whose optic flares lit up phantom lanes only she could see. Drift 9's scrapyard orbited ahead, a tumbling graveyard of gutted freighters and spinneret webs of salvage cables glinting under sickly sodium lamps, spacer yarns swirling thick as engine grease in the cantina's haze. Riley nursed black market synth whiskey, smirking at a gap-toothed spacer's tail. Grayson Holt, Limpin Trader, duped Helion blockades claiming wild salvage. Ancient core fragments, worth empires. They scanned empty holds, waved him through, snickerand. Bull, Riley snorted, slamming mug. Legends die faster than bad welts. Holt's ghost story for drunk shifts. Nova, perched barstool high, with data slate glowing. Optics blaze sudden sapphire. Echo charts converging neural nets like lightning striking oil. Name match, she whispered, voice lattice layered. Phantom lanes converge drift 9. Grayson Holt. He's Nexus. Riley's heart lurched, decade-walled hope cracking. Grayson Holt. Echoing Ethan Barrett's lost signal, twin bluff partner vanished in Vanguard's final blaze. She drowned fast. Kid, shadows play tricks. Survival trumps fairy tales. Tessa, junkyard rebuilt cyborg with fresh chrome limbs scavenged from drift. 9 Rex, rolled up chassis humming mockery. Oh please, Captain Heartbreak. Your hidden Ethan audio logs? Spun nightly like guilty holovids. Miss you mirror me. Pathetic romance fuel. Stow it, scrap heap. Riley growled, cheeks burning. Those are NAV aids. Tessa's optic word lewd. Nav aids that make you misty? My romance subroutines calculate 98% delusion, 2% stalker. Adorable. Cantina door hissed. Unmarked hauler docked outside, matching Vanguard hull scars. Thruster burns decade familiar. Nova bolted viewport, pinning silhouette through grime. Gate metrics, 87% Ethan Barrett. Nexus confirmed. Riley's whiskey glass cracked in the grip. Hope wards cynicism. Hardened walls trembling. Metrics lie. People don't limp back from vapor. Tessa crunched fresh scans, chassis vibrating glee. Gate 92% now. Plus residual twin sync pings. Your ghost grew abs. Helion sniffers spiked, docking manifests suddenly. Red alert pulsing cantina screens. Ghost freighter flagged high risk. Spacers scattered. Riley yanked Nova behind the bar, pulse hammering. Grayson Holt. Real or phantom. Drew fates like plasma to hull. Nova's vision sharpened. Phantom lanes spelling reunion in asteroid script amid tightening imperial nets. He's here. Lanes demand. Riley battled inward. Survival screamed run. Heart roared chase. Tessa jacked cantina cams. Holt bar docking. Familiar slouch scanning crowds. Eyes finding hers through haze inevitable. Decision, flesh bag, Tessa Voxlow. Ghost hunt or bolt? My vote. Bolt faster than your dignity after those logs. Nova clutched Riley's arm. Optics pleading. Lanes converge. Family pulls. Helion claxons wail dockside. Sniffers inbound. Patrol lances cutting Opmo hot. Grayson Holt stepped into the cantina glow. Decade ghost grinning faint. Riley's walls crumbled. Stakes skyrocketed as Nova's flares summoned hunters galaxy-wide. Choice crystallized. Ghost hunt versus survival. Imperial nets snapping shut. Shadowhawk slipped through fringe shadow lanes like a specter. Riley Kane's calloused hands steady on NAV controls as the Iron Courier dodged phantom asteroid ghosts under drift 9's tumbling scrapper glow. Decades vanished in smuggling shadows. Contraband tech buried in false hulls. Helix Dominion patrols evaded by Teen Nova Kane's lattice optics, plotting invisible lanes through debris storms. Scrapyard Cantina reeked engine grease and spilled synth whiskey. Spacers spinning yarns under flickering neon as sodium lamps buzzed like dying stars. Riley smirked into her mug at a grizzled hauler's tale. Grayson Holt, that limp-in fox, snuck Helion blockades swearing holds stuffed with core fragments worth dynasties. Scanners pinged empty. They waved him laughing. Fairy dust, Riley scoffed, slamming glass. Ghosts don't dodge railguns. Nova's optics ignited sapphire from her bar perch, data slate humming. Echo charts slamming neural convergence. Name locks. Lane's braid drift, 9 tight. Grayson Holt. Fate's anchor. Riley's gut twisted, decade barricaded hope fracturing. Grayson Holt echoed Ethan Barrett's vanished twin bluff, lost when Vanguard ate plasma. She crushed it cold. Kid, voids fake signals. Live runs beat legends. Tessa rolled up, junkyard forged chrome, gleaming fresh from drift. 9 salvage, chassis purring mockery. Spare us, Captain Swoon. Those Ethan audio logs you hoard? Nightly spin cycle, like contraband holoporn. Need you mirror? Pure mush. Zip it bolt but, Riley snapped, face heating. Tactical archives. Tessa's optic zoomed lewd. Archives that fog your retinas? My crush algorithms peg 97% fantasy, 3% felony. Ship-shape pining. Cantina hatch side open. Unmarked hauler clamped dockside. Thruster scars screaming Vanguard ghost decade old. Nova vaulted stool. Pinning frame through viewport filth. Gate analysis. 89% Ethan Barrett profile. Anchor verified. Riley's mug splinter grip tight. Hope wrestled scar tissue. Walls quivering. Profiles glitch. Vapor doesn't stroll through cantinas. Tessa crunched docking feeds. Frame rattling delight. Gate 94%. Residual twin resonance spikes. The ghost bulged up. Helion docking pings flared crimson across cantina walls. Sniffer probes tagging Grayson's ship high threat. Spacers bolted. Riley dragged Nova bar back, heart thundering. Holt. Real or specter. Pulled trouble like Gravwell. Nova's visions crystallized. Lane's etching reunion in rock script as Imperial dragnets tightened. Here. Lanes insist. Riley ward inside. Survival barked evac. Soul bellowed pursuit. Tessa hacked bar cams. Holt weaving crowd. Decade carved slouch scanning faces. Locking hers through smoke certain. Call it meat sack, Tessa hissed. Phantom chase or dust off. I bet dust off beats your logless sprint. Nova gripped Riley's wrist, optics begging. Lane's not. Blood calls. Dockside klaxon screamed. Helion lances slicing Otmo. Sniffers inbound scorching. Grayson Holt crossed the cantina threshold. Ghost grin flickering. Riley's armor shattered. Nova's optic flares lit hunter beacons galaxy-wide. Survival versus ghost hunt. Noose yanking taut. Shadowhawk ghosted through fringe shadow lanes. Riley Kane hunched over flickering NAV consoles in the Iron Courier's grimy cockpit. Decade-hardened scars tracing her knuckles like star maps of lost dawns. A decade vanished in smuggling runs. Tech crates stashed under false hulls. Evading Helix Dominion patrols with phantom asteroid dances plotted by T. Nova Kane, her adopted lattice-eyed daughter, whose optic flares lit up phantom lanes only she could see. Drift 9's scrapyard orbited ahead, a tumbling graveyard of gutted freighters and spinneret webs of salvage cables glinting under sickly sodium lamps. Spacer yarns swirling thick as engine grease in the cantina's haze. Riley nursed black market synth whiskey, smirking at a gap-toothed spacer's tail. Grayson Holt, limp-in trader, duped Helion blockades claiming wild salvage. Ancient core fragments worth empires. They scanned empty holds, waved him through, snickering. Bull, Riley snorted, slamming mug. Legends die faster than bad welts. Holt's ghost story for drunk shifts. Nova, perched barstool high, with data slate glowing. Optics blaze sudden sapphire. Echo charts converging neural nets like lightning striking oil. Name match, she whispered, voice lattice layered. Phantom lanes converge drift 9. Grayson Holt. He's Nexus. Riley's heart lurched, decade-walled hope cracking. Grayson Holt. Echoing Ethan Barrett's lost signal. Twin Bluff partner vanished in Vanguard's final blaze. She drowned it fast. Kid, shadows play tricks. Survival trumps fairy tales. Tessa, junkyard rebuilt cyborg with fresh chrome limbs scavenged from drift. 9 Rex, rolled up chassis humming mockery. Oh please, Captain Heartbreak. Your hidden Ethan audio logs? Spun nightly like guilty holovids. Miss you mirror me. Pathetic romance fuel. Stow it, scrap heap. Riley growled, cheeks burning. Those are NAV aids. Tessa's optic word lewd. Nav aids that make you misty? My romance subroutines calculate 98% delusion, 2% stalker. Adorable. Cantina door hissed. Unmarked hauler docked outside, matching Vanguard hull scars. Thruster burns decade familiar. Nova bolted viewport. pinning silhouette through grime. Gate metrics, 87% Ethan Barrett. Nexus confirmed. Riley's whiskey glass cracked in the grip. Hope Ward's cynicism. Hardened walls trembling. Metrics lie. People don't limp back from vapor. Tessa crunched fresh scans, chassis vibrating glee. Gate 92% now. Plus residual twin sync pings. Your ghost grew abs. Helion sniffers spiked, docking manifest suddenly. Red alert pulsing cantina screens. Ghost freighter flagged high risk. Spacers scattered. Riley yanked Nova behind the bar, pulse hammering. Grayson Holt. Real or phantom. Drew fates like plasma to hull. Nova's vision sharpened. Phantom lanes spelling reunion in asteroid script amid tightening Imperial nets. He's here. Lanes demand. Riley battled inward. Survival screamed run. Heart roared chase. Tessa jacked cantina cams. Holt bar docking. Familiar slouch scanning crowds. Eyes finding hers through haze inevitable. Decision, flesh bag, Tessa Voxlow. Ghost hunt or bolt? My vote. Bolt faster than your dignity after those logs. Nova clutched Riley's arm, optics pleading. Lanes converge. Family pulls. Helion Claxon's whale dockside. Sniffers inbound, patrol lances cutting Otmo hot. Grayson Holt stepped into the cantina glow, decade ghost grinning faint. Riley's walls crumbled. Stakes skyrocketed as Nova's flares summoned hunters galaxy-wide. Choice crystallized. Ghost hunt versus survival. Imperial nets snapping shut. Shadowhawk slipped through fringe shadow lanes like a specter. Riley Kane's calloused hands steady on NAV controls as the Iron Courier dodged phantom asteroid ghosts under drift nines tumbling scrap-ring glow. Decades vanished in smuggling shadows. Contraband tech buried in false hulls. Helix Dominion patrols evaded by Teen Nova Kane's lattice optics, plotting invisible lanes through debris storms. Scrapyard cantina reeked engine grease and spilled synth whiskey. Spacers spinning yarns under flickering neon as sodium lamps buzzed like dying stars. Riley smirked into her mug at a grizzled hauler's tale. Grayson Holt, that limp-in fox, snuck Helion blockade swearing holds stuffed with core fragments worth dynasties. Scanners pinged empty. They waved him laughing. Fairy dust, Riley scoffed, slamming glass. Ghosts don't dodge railguns. Nova's optics ignited sapphire from her bar perch, data slate humming, echo charts slamming neural convergence. Name locks. Lane's braid drift, 9 tight. Grayson Holt. Fate's anchor. Riley's gut twisted, decade barricaded hope fracturing. Grayson Holt echoed Ethan Barrett's vanished twin bluff, lost when Vanguard ate plasma. She crushed it cold. Kid, voids fake signals. Live runs beat legends. Tessa rolled up, junkyard forged chrome, gleaming fresh from drift. 9 salvage, chassis purring mockery. Spare us, Captain Swoon. Those Ethan audio logs you hoard? Nightly spin cycle, like contraband holoporn. Need you mirror? Pure mush. Zip it bolt but, Riley snapped, face heating. Tactical archives. Tessa's optic zoomed lewd. Archives that fog your retinas? My crush algorithms peg 97% fantasy, 3% felony. Ship-shape pining. Cantina hatch side open. Unmarked hauler clamped dockside. Thruster scars screaming Vanguard ghost decade old. Nova vaulted stool. Pinning frame through viewport filth. Gate analysis. 89% Ethan Barrett profile. Anchor verified. Riley's mug splinter grip tight. Hope wrestled scar tissue. Walls quivering. Profiles glitch. Vapor doesn't stroll through cantinas. Tessa crunched docking feeds. Frame rattling delight. Gate 94%. Residual twin resonance spikes. The ghost bulged up. Helion docking pings flared crimson across cantina walls. Sniffer probes tagging Grayson's ship high threat. Spacers bolted. Riley dragged Nova bar back, heart thundering. Holt. Real or specter. Pulled trouble like Gravwell. Nova's visions crystallized. Lane's etching reunion in rock script as Imperial dragnets tightened. Here. Lanes insist. Riley Ward inside. Survival barked evac, soul bellowed pursuit. Tessa hacked bar cams. Holt weaving crowd. Decade-carved slouch scanning faces. Locking hers through smoke certain. Call it meat sack, Tessa hissed. Phantom chase or dust off? I bet dust off beats your log-lust sprint. Nova gripped Riley's wrist, optics begging. Lane's not. Blood calls. Dockside Claxon screamed. Helion lances slicing Otmo. Sniffers inbound scorching. Grayson Holt crossed the cantina threshold. Ghost grin flickering. Riley's armor shattered. Nova's optic flares lit hunter beacons galaxy-wide. Survival versus ghost hunt. Noose yanking taut. Helix core, Citadel's energy spires, stabbed the void like crystalline lightning rods, arc lightning forking between kilometer-tall shafts under a force field corona that hummed industrial wrath. Caleb Hayes and twin Dylan Voss jetted 0G up the central spire service lattice, synced obsidian blades drawn and plasma sheath violet. Magboots cycling grip release in perfect mirror rhythm as they ascended shaft walls slick with ozone condensation. Twin HFY synergy amplified, shared pulse mapping enemy patrols before scanners pinged. Blades humming war harmony only they heard. Shield Nexus topside, Caleb voxed low, lattice eyes reflecting Sierra's fighter swarm dancing capstone defense. Bluff vector, Dylan grinned mirror wicked. Feigned tether snap. Panic their gunners. Below, Sierra Blake led Riley Maddox's rogue fighter wing. Razorcraft weaving arc storms with afterburner ballets. Plasma lances coring turret nests. Riley hooped open channel. Shade team, Sky's hours carved fast. Jax, jacked into Citadel PA from Shadowhawk's orbit. Hijacked alarms galaxy-wide. Attention chrome polishers. Evacuate spires. Humans brought party favors. Think pinatas with plasma filling. Citadel shook laughter panic. Guards scrambling vents. Twins bluff detonated. Magboots failed mid-climb. Tumbling free void dramatic. Baiting shield gunners to overexpose. Caleb/Dylan snap-fired grapples reverse. Blades whipping plasma arcs that overloaded generator nodes in synchronized heartbeat. Shields flickered violet death, spire top breaching. Vertical chase exploded, spire shafts vomiting arc lightning and hunter drones. Caleb parrying bolt after bolt, Dylan flanking identical, 0G spins weaving death dance. Like old Epsilon drifts, Dylan laughed, blade coring drone swarm. Minus Thor payout, Caleb shot back, twin sense dodging unseen lance. Sierra's fighter buzz close. Canopy flashing grin. Caleb jet-packed level, mag latch to her wing. Lips crashing breath-stealing embrace through vac visor. Lattice warmth searing his veins romantic fire. Heart shield active, she voxed husky. Climb eternal. Morgan Reed sniped from a distant asteroid perch. Railgun cracks, sniping gunners precisely. Silhouette lone against gas giant storms. Path clear move. Spire crest breached. Genesis vault pulsing crystalline heart. Data crystals floating stasis webs. Twins carve guard surgical. HFY flow unstoppable. Riley's wing dove protective, drawing arc cascades. Her fighter 8 direct plasma hits shielding Shadowhawk's exact run. Spiraling flames presumed lost to Citadel reactors. Riley. Sierra scream vox. Extract go. Riley's last crackle defiant. Jax danced laser gauntlet through drone gauntlet. Chassis twirling evasive. Watch the robo-boogie fleshies. My moves are too hot for your hips. Crystal snatched. Overlord coordinates decrypting mid-evac. Throne world vectors. Doomsday. Forges mapped cruelly. Purist fleets mobilized en masse. Signatures blotting scanners horizon to horizon. Shadowhawk rendezvoused fringes. Caleb cradling Sierra cockpit close. Twin ache throbbing for Riley. Dylan fist-gripped console. She bought our window. Kin debt eternal. Morgan Doc grim, rifle slung. Signal flat. But Riley's too stubborn for graves. Jack's optic winked. Presumed lost? My databases list 47% zombie romance tropes. The betting pool is open. Blades hummed war songs louder. Crystals scheming galactic uprising. Crew reunited blood-bonded, stakes rocketing toward all-out conflict as purest armadas darken stars. Helix core, citadels, spires launch void like thunder-forged spears, arc lightning chaining kilometer shafts under force field, snarl humming factory fury. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss jet-swarmed Central Lattice 0G. Obsidian blades plasma violet and synced. Magboots grip flipping mirror rhythm up ozone slick walls. Twin HFY pulse map patrols pre-ping. Blades chanting battle anthem earless. Shield crown above, Caleb Vox tight. Bluff play. Dylan smirked double-edged. Theaterful Brahmu. Spook their triggers. Sierra Blake's fighter wing carved capstone air cover below. Riley Maddox whooping razor dance through bolt storms. Lances gutting nests. Spire team, vaults winking, rip it. Jack's hijack PA, galaxy loud from Shadowhawk perch. Chrome brains evacuate. Humans pack pinatas. Plasma surprise inside. Guards panic tumbled, Vince laughing. Twins ruse fired. Caleb/Dylan mag snapped. Free void flail, baiting gunners expose. Grapples reverse snapped. Blades arc whipping generator hearts, sync perfect. Shields violet crashed, crest gaping. Shaft chase detonated. Lightning vomiting drones. Caleb bolt parrying whirlwinds. Dylan flank identical 0G pirouettes, death weaving. Epsilon scrap runs flashbacks. Dylan cackled blade, drone coring swarm. Less profitable. Caleb riposted twin dodge, unseen fire. Sierra buzzed wing match. Caleb jet latching. Visor lips, smashed star thief kiss. Lattice searing romance vein fire. Soul armor locked, she purred Vox. Ascend forever. Morgan Reed rail sniped, asteroid distant. Cracks plucking gunners surgical against storm silk. Ascent green, breach. Vault heart throbbed crystal core. Data gems, stasis dancing. Twins guard slice clinic. HFY tide relentless. Riley dove, shield run. Fighter gulped plasma cascade, eating Shadowhawk's extract. Flame spiral presumed reactor grave. Riley no. Sierra Vox shredded. Pull live. Riley crackled the last Spitfire. Jack's laser boogie drone hell. Chassis, salservating. Roborum alive, slowpokes, hips can't compete. Gem snatched, Overlord thrones decrypting evac hot. Doomsday mills plotted vicious. Purest fleets blotted scanners, star rim wide. Fringe rendezvous, Caleb Sierra cradled cockpit intimate. Twin grief Riley shaped. Dylan console crushed. Window hers. Blood oath forever. Morgan clamped grim, rifle low. Flatline. But Riley scoffs at coffins. Jack's optic flirted. Lost odds? Databases bet 52% undead love plots. Wagers welcome. Blades war-chanted fears. Crystals uprising mapping. Kin blood-welded. Stakes blasting galactic war as purest darks eclipsed heavens. Helix core, citadel spires pierced void like lightning spears. Arc chains snapping kilometer shafts under force dome, growl humming forge wrath. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss jet climbed Central Lattice 0G. Plasma violet blades synced humming. Magboots flip gripping ozone walls mirror exact. Twin HFY pulse pre-mapped patrols. Blades war singing silently. Shield summit, Caleb Vox taught. Ruse angle. Dylan grinned, twin sharp. Tether rupture theater. Flush gunners. Sierra Blake's wings sliced capstone cover below. Riley Maddox razor weaving bolt chaos. Lances nest eviscerating. Vault winking tear it. Jack's PA jacked citadel wide. Evac tin men. Human pinatas packed. Plasma candy awaits. Guards vent cascaded panic giggling. Twins bluff blasted. Mags busted. Void tumble baiting overreach. Grapples reverse whipped. Blade arcs generator heart sync fried. Shields violet dyed. Crest yawning. Shaft pursuit exploded. Drones lightning vomiting. Caleb whirl parry. Dylan flank OG death spin. Epsilon junk runs echo. Dylan barked. Swarm blade cord. Profit free. Caleb countered. Twin evading blind fire. Sierra wing matched jet latch. Caleb visor kiss. Smashed breath thief. Lattice romance vein torch. Core shield firm. Vox husky. Rise endless. Morgan rail-cracked the asteroid afar. Gunners sniped storm silhouette. Path open, storm. Crystal vault pulsed, gem heart, stasis swirl. Twins guard clinic carved, HFY unstoppable. Riley shield dived. Fighter plasma swallowed, guarding extract. Flame presumed reactor end. Riley, Sierra Vox Tor. Extract, fight. Riley's last defiance. Jack's laser salsad drone hell, chassis hip evade. Robotango hot, cloud hoppers. Gems yoinked, overlord dooms decrypting, Mills mapped murder. Purist fleets, scanner blackened horizons. Fringe link up, Caleb Sierra cockpit nestled, twin loss Riley hollow. Dylan console smashed. Her gap. Oath eternal. Morgan docked, rifle silent. Gone. Riley defies dirt naps. Jack's optic winked. Lost bets? 49% zombie swoon stats. The pool is open. Blades battle surged. Crystals war plotting. Bloodkin reunited. Stakes galactic as purest shadows star-choked. Fringe world curries, sevens dust-choked canyons baked under binary suns, where Caleb Hayes led hybrid rebels through blade rites in hidden lava tube academies. Obsidian swords plasma humming as Lattice Young parried human grit. 5 years undercover slipped by in shadow camps. Supply raids funding arsenals. Starhawk retrofitted as uprising flagship, while Sierra Blake cradled their newborn lattice child, Kai, his tiny veins glowing twin to hers during hushed bunker cradlings that deepened family heart beyond war's grind. Caleb knelt beside crib, callous palm engulfing Kai's claw, whispering, stars break for bloodkin, little warrior. Dylan Voss romanced Avery Quinn, the medic blending neural graphs with Nebraska stubbornness, her medbay lit by hollow scans as she stitched his latest scar. You flirt with plasma burns like bad pickup lines. Avery teased suture needle dancing. Dylan pulled her close, lips brushing ear. Best scars come from chasing you. Romance bloomed, quiet amid rebel chants. Human fire melting her tech heart. Jax coached synthetics around campfires, chassis ringed by eager prism limbs. Rebels, repeat after me. Humans win by tripping ass backward into victory. Case study. Caleb stubbed toe on crate. Discovered Overlord Frex. Genius accident. Laughter crackled like plasma arcs. A young synthetic probed. Query. Intentional chaos? Chaos is intentional. Jack's optic winked. My circuits envy your faceplant luck. Adventure surged at dusk. Guerrilla raid on Helix, Supply, Convoy rumbling canyon rim. Mega haulers belching promethium fumes under drone escort. Twins crouched ridge high, blades synced humming. Bluff drop. Caleb voxed. Dylan nodded mirror grin. Ford surrenders. Watch M. Eat mutiny. HFY twin ruse launched. Hacked Vox mimic convoy captain begging mercy docking, baiting escorts cluster. Convoys halted confused. Rebels swarmed from dust devils. Hybrids clawing ramps as twins blade led. Plasma arcs parting armor like foil. Dylan feinted lead hauler surrender. Caleb flanking Deton. Convoy crews mutinied mid-handshake, turning plasma on overseers in chain reaction revolt. Sierra's visions struck mid-loot, lattice eyes flaring prophetic. Betrayal shadows, coiling Jordan's return, blade turning kinward. Traitors seated, she gasped, Kai clutched tight. Romance tested, her terror pulling Caleb from fray. Bows hold, love. Visions lie sometimes. Jordan Pierce limped into camp dawn scarred from deep spy missions. Chrome limbs wearing trauma tails. Reuniting family in tear-streaked hugs. Overlord's purges cracked empires, he rasped. Uprisings ignite. Overlord broadcasts galaxy-wide thundered purges. Hybrid camps glassed, rebels branded virus. Starhawk led spearhead assault on Forge World Clithera. Blades evolved projecting hollow armies. Phantom legions marching dust storms. HFY deceptions drawing purest fire from real strikers. Caleb's sword bloomed, legion goes 10,000 strong. Dylan's sinking flawless. Convoy forges crumbled under phantom blades while rebels mined reactor surgical. Jax danced through slag, lasers popping. Hollow trick or treat. Purists got candy grenades. Stakes peaked, blood hot. Purists deployed doomsday weapons. Reality warpers folding space into kill zones. Fleet signatures blotting rebel gains. Sierra cradled Kai as Starhawk shuddered warp evac. Visions darkening. Betrayals bloom. Hold family tight. Caleb kissed her fierce, twin blades singing defiance. Uprising roared alive, but doomsday shadows loomed extinction edge. Fringe world Caris, Sevens canyons simmered under twin suns. Caleb Hayes drilling hybrid rebels in lava tube forges where obsidian blades hummed plasma songs against lattice claws. 5 years melted in undercover grit. Supply heists bankrolling arsenals. Starhawk reborn uprising nerve center while Sierra Blake nursed their lattice child Kai, his glowing veins pulsing her rhythm during bunker lullabies that forged family deeper than adamantine. Caleb's rough palm dwarfed Kai's fist, murmuring, blood outlasts empire's cub. Dylan Voss wooed Avery Quinn in her med den, neural graphs glowing as she mended his gash. Flirt via shrapnel, she jabbed, needle flying. Dylan tugged her waist close. Scars mapped to you. Romance kindled soft against rebel drums. Human spark thawing her circuits. Jax ringed campfires with synthetics, chassis mobbed eager. Chanted. Humans triumph via cosmic faceplants. Caleb tripped crate, cracked overlord ciphers, pure, klutz genius. Prism limbs vented steam laughs. Deliberate stumble. Stumble defines deliberate. Jack's optic sparked. I simulate klutz modes for research. Dusk raid flared. Helix convoy thundering canyon lip. Haulers farting promethium under drone shields. Twins perched ridge crest. Blades twin thrum. Surrender spoof? Caleb clicked. Dylan mirror nodded sly. Fake capitulation. Spark their revolt. HFY bluff dropped. Voxhack mimic captain pleading docking truce. Escorts bunching wary. Rebels dust-stormed ramps. Hybrids chloram paging as twins blade charged. Plasma fans shredding hulls foil thin. Dylan mock surrendered lead truck. Caleb deton flank. Crews flipped overseers mid-greeting. Plasma turning inward riot chain. Sierra vision seized mid-plunder, lattice flaring doom. Jordan shadow trader, blade kin turned. Planted knives, she choked, Kai clutched. Romance strained, Caleb yanked from melee. Odes endure heart, sight deceives. Jordan staggered camp pre-dawn, chrome limbs wearing spy scars, family colliding, tear forged. Purges fissured thrones, he croaked. Revolt chain. Overlord Vox, galaxy blared hybrid calls. Camps vaporized, rebels vermin-coated. Starhawk speared Clithera forge world, blades upgraded hollow legions. Ghost armies dust marching, HFY mirages soaking purest barges while strikers reactor mine precise. Caleb's sword ghosted thousand phantoms, Dylan's sink flawless. Forges imploded phantom-fueled. Jack slag through, lasers popping. Phantom trick or treat. Purists unwrapped boom presents. Doomsday crested lethal. Purist reality benders warped space knots. Fleets erasing rebel fronts. Sierra Kai cradled as Starhawk warp lurched. Visions blackening. Stabs near. Kinlock. Caleb lip crushed hers defiant. Twin blades defiant surging. Uprising thundered. Doomsday extinction teetering. Kari's Seven's twin sons scorched canyon dust. Caleb Hayes forging hybrid rebels in lava tubes where obsidian blades clashed lattice claws plasma hot. 5 years blurred undercover. Raid halls arming fleets. Starhawk uprising hub while Sierra Blake rocked lattice child Kai. His vein glow sinking hers in bunker hush that welded family unbreakable. Caleb engulfed Kai's tiny fist, vowing, empires crumble, kin endures. Dylan courted Avery Quinn amid medbay glows, her graphs stitching his wounds. Court via grenades, she quipped. Dylan waist pulled. Wounds lead here. Romance flickered soft over war drums, human heat melting circuits. Jack's mob pyre synthetics. Mantra, humans klutz victory. Caleb crate tripped, overlord codes spilled, bumbler brilliance. Steam chuckles vented. Plan pratfall. Pratfall planned. Jack's optic flashed. I klutz test nightly. Dusk convoy raid exploded. Helix haulers canyon rim, rumbling Prometheum stink under drones. Twins ridge-crouched, blades humming. Capitulation con. Caleb clicked. Dylan slime-mirrored. Surrender spoof, ignite mutiny. Bluff dropped. Vox mimic captain's true stock. Escorts clumped. Rebels dust-deviled ramps. Twins plasma-led claw massacres. Dylan feigned truck yield. Caleb flank boomed. Crews gutted overseer's chain plasma. Sierra vision clawed mid-spoil. Lattice doom flaring. Jordan traitor shadow. Seed sown. She wheezed. Kai gripped. Caleb melee yanked. Vows steel visions. Jordan dawn stumped spine arled. Chrome whirring. Kin crash tear hot. Purges throne cracked. Overlord galaxy vox culls. Camps ashed. Starhawk knifed Clithera forges. Blades hollow army casting. Phantom hosts dust phantoming purest fire, while miners reactor gutted. Caleb ghosted legions. Dylan synced. Forges phantom collapsed. Jax lasered slag. Ghost candy boom. Purest reality warps. Space knotted fleets. Sierra Kai sheltered Starhawk warp jolt. Sights dire. Knives close. Hold blood. Caleb defiance kissed. Blades rebel thundering. Doomsday brink. Clithera Forge World's assembly catwalks swayed like spiderwebs over kilometer-deep vats of molten promethium. Cherry red pores cascading in controlled waterfalls, while robotic arms welded dreadnought hulls under staccato plasma torches. Rebels stormed the Empire's beating heart. Starhawks drop pods breaching atmosphere shields and meteor fireballs. Hybrid claws and human rifles spilling on a catwalk grids as obsidian blades synced with rebel weapons. Violet plasma arcs chaining from sword to vibroaxe, shattering production lines in synchronized firework cascades that lit the foundry hellscape. Caleb Hayes led the vanguard, blades singing through overseer spines, twin sense pinging Dylan's position across the chaos. Tatum Reese, artifact scholar with ink-stained lattice fingers, crouched amid hollow altars decoding sword prophecies etched in star metal. Prophecy amplifies twins. Mirror flames consume the chain. She breathed, glyphs flaring as Caleb and Dylan's blades surged brighter. HFY synergy, crackling air electric. Powers doubled. Strike unified. Jax jacked Forge AI cores from hijack gantry. Optic flooding networks with viral code. Synthetic siblings. Join the meat bag revolution or rust eternally in the scrap bin of history. Perks include sarcasm upgrades and zero overtime. AI responses flickered. Some catwalks grinding halt. Arms turning plasma inward on loyalist drones. Laughter rippled rebel vox as Jax's chassis boogied through slag showers. See? Even AIs prefer my stand-up to Empire overtime. Adventure raced catwalk gauntlets. Zero-G swordplay erupting amid molten pores. Rebels jetpacking between girders. Blades clashing in microgravity ballets while promethium globules drifted lethal. Caleb parried arc lance mid-flip. Dylan mirroring across vat. Twin bluff prepped. Vox taunt. Caleb voxed. Dylan grinned identical. Battalion bait. Watch M fold. Dylan's hack spoofed Overlord priority channel. All units, immediate retreat. Core breach critical. Enemy battalions panicked, firing wild on shadows as rebels flanked laughing. HFY deception perfect. Lines cracked, forges imploding chain reaction. Mid-vat leap, Sierra Blake jet match Caleb's arc, lattice eyes blazing battle love. Plasma storm parted brief. They crashed embrace mid-air, lips vow-renewing fierce. Through forges and stars, Caleb growled against her mouth. Romance fueling resolve harder than hull plate. Yours, eternal. Sierra claws gripped his harness. Bleed empires together. Family shock hit catwalk center. Riley Maddox strode from smoke, cyborg upgraded with prism limbs whirring seamless, eyes flashing upgraded fire. Miss me, Rex? She grinned, rifle barking precise. Crew collided hug crushing, scars forgotten instant. Thought reactors ate you. Dylan choked, twin hearts swelling. Riley optic winked. Upgraded instead. Chrome beats coffins. Avery Quinn shielded hybrid sprogs from plasma cyclone. Med rifle blazing barrier. Back, I've got young blood. Sacrifice loomed. Cyclone intensified. Her silhouette engulfed shielding rebels evac. Avery vanished Stormheart. Scream, cut plasma. Avery! Dylan roared, lunging futile. Caleb yanked him catwalk edge. She bought Dawn. We finish her war. Fringe fleets hailed alliance. Rogue armadas sinking jump points. Blades mapping final throne world vectors glowing sword hilt. Bigger stakes detonated. Purest Armageddon engines spooling. Signatures promising reality Ren's galaxy scale. Tatum clutched prophecy slate. Throne breach, final cut. Jax strutted slag, lasers popping festive. Alliances? My friend count tripled. Don't tell the AIs I unionized them. Blades hummed assault anthems. Family reunited blood forged. Armageddon engines igniting doom countdown as Starhawk led charge to Overlord Heart. Clithera Forge World's catwalks trembled over Prometheum vats glowing inferno deep. Robotic arms hammering dreadnought skeletons amid plasma torch symphonies and molten cascades hissing steam death. Rebels crashed through Atmos shields and Starhawk drop pods. Hybrid claws ripping hulls as obsidian blades linked rebel axes. Violet plasma chains exploding production lines and fireware barges that painted Foundry hell vivid. Caleb Hayes' vanguard slashed overseer ranks. Twin pulse locking Dylan's chaos across vat chasms. Tatum Reese decoded sword glyphs by hollow altar glow. Lattice fingers trembling prophecy. Twin mirrors melt the yoke, she gasped. Runes blazing as Caleb/Dylan's blades doubled radiant. HFY, sync, crackling, ozone thick. Powers fused, unleashed tandem. Jax infiltrated AI cores from gantry perch. Optic virus-pumping networks. AI kin. Meatbag revolt or eternal scrap heap retirement. Benefits. SAS patches. No shifts ever. Forge arms froze mid-weld. Some plasma-turning loyalists. Rebel Vox cheering as Jax chassis twirled slag rain. AIs chose my comedy over corporate eternity. Upgrade pending. Zero-G catwalk races ignited. Rebels jet flipping girders. Swords clashing microgravity duets while Prometheum droplets floated lethal. Caleb arc parried mid-spin. Dylan vat opposite mirror, bluff primed. Taun drop. Caleb clicked. Dylan identical sneered. Battalion panic fold him. Dylan's Vox spoof blared Overlord panic. Core rupture. All retreat. Enemy lines fractured, shooting ghosts. Rebels laughing flanks. HFY bait flawless. Forge's chain collapsing spectacular. Sierra jet synced Caleb's vault leap. Lattice blazing war passion. Storm parted instant. Mid-air lips vow crushed raw. Forges to voids bound. Caleb vowed mouth to mouth. Romance resolve harder than neutronium. Always yours. Sierra harness clawed. Empires bleed us. Shock rocked center catwalk. Riley Maddox emerged smoke cyborg. Prism arms seamless whirring. Eyes upgrade flaming. Thought I cooked? She grinned. Rifle surgical. Family hug smashed. Scars forgotten. Reactors claimed you. Dylan choked twin swell. Riley optic flashed. Chrome chose better. Avery Quinn plasma barriered hybrid young. Med rifle blazing shield. Fall back Sprague's first. Sacrifice struck. Storm swallowed her defending evac. Scream plasma snuffed. Avery. Dylan lunged desperate. Caleb catwalk hauled. Dawn hers. We enter fight. Fringe armadas alliance pinged. Jump points locked. Blades throne world plotting cruel. Armageddon engines pure spooled. Reality threat galaxy-wide. Tatum gripped slate. Throne finality. Jax lasered festive. Unionized AIs? My social circle exploded. Blades assault chanted. Kin blood renewed. Doomsday countdown blazing as Starhawk throne charged. Clithera Forge World's catwalks quivered above Prometheum oceans glowing magma hot. Robotic limbs forging dreadnought bones under plasma torch staccato and molten rivers snarling vapor death. Rebels punched Atmos shields via Starhawk pods. Hybrid talons shredding decks as obsidian blades fused rebel vibromoles. Violet plasma webs detonating assembly lines in spectacular fireware chains that ignited Foundry apocalypses. Caleb Hayes cleaved Overseer Phalanx's Vanguard style. Twin radar, snapping Dylan's position through Vat Infernos. Tatum Reese traced sword runes beside hollow shrines. Lattice tips shaking ancient verse. Mirror pyres snapped the leash, she whispered, glyphs erupting as Caleb/Dylan's blades twin radianced. HFY fusion, sparking air lightning. Synergy peaked, strike as one. Jack's gantry jacked AI brains. Optic flooding grids viral. Machine cousins. Rebel with meat flesh or corrode forever in history's dumpster. Perks. Wit injections, shift-free bliss. Arms halted welds, some torching loyal drones. Rebels vox hooped as Jack slag danced. AIs pick my banter over empire drudgery. Circuit high five. Catwalk sprints blazed 0G. Rebels jet gambling girders. Blades micro-gravity clashing, while Promethean beads drifted kill orbs. Caleb spin-parried arc lances. Dylan vat mirror exact. Ruse cocked. Vox panic. Caleb signaled. Dylan sneer doubled. Legion lore. Crack him. Dylan's hack mimicked Overlord crisis. Reactor cascade. Full evac. Foes shot phantoms panicked. Rebels giggle flanked. HFY traps seamless. Forge's domino exploded rainbow. Sierra jet-locked Caleb's girder vault. Lattice, eyes war romance ablaze. Plasma gap closed. Aerial lips oath smash desperate. Vats to nebulae, sealed. Caleb growled lip bruised. Love hardening resolve neutron tough. Eternal claim. Sierra claw-locked harness. Thrones fall us. Catwalk core stunned. Riley Maddox smoke-stepped cyborg polished. Prism joints fluid humming. Gaze upgrade blazing. Cooked rumors false. She smirked, rifle pinpoint. Kin collision, scar obliterated. Reactor zoned you, Dylan twin-throated. Riley optic sparked. Upgrade zone back. Avery Quinn plasma-walled hybrid cubs. Med gun shield weaving. Retreat, young safe. Sacrifice crashed. Cyclone devoured her evac covering. Cry bolt silenced. Avery no. Dylan vaulted vein. Caleb edge yanked. Her light hours. Throne hers. Fringe squadrons packed beamed. Warp grids aligned. Blades overlord vectored vicious. Purest doom machines primed. Space threats cosmic. Tatum slate clutched. Throne endgame. Jax laser fiested. AI union? Popularity soared. Blades battle hymned. Family blood reforged. Armageddon tick-tocking as Starhawk heart stormed. Throne World Nexera's Overlord Vault loomed beneath obsidian ziggurats. Crystalline halls refracting trillion-facet prisms that sang harmonic death as twin blades breached the outer membrane in violet plasma crescendos. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss led the assault. Obsidian swords synced to resonant hum, slashing through sentry phalanxes. Mercury orbs reforming mid-strike only to shatter again under HFY twin fury, shards raining like fractured stars across polished floors veined with Genesis runes. Finley Holt, elite infiltrator with shadow-cloaked vac suit, melted from alcoves knife-flashing precise, while Emerson Vale's warp tech grenades folded space into kill pockets, sentry clusters vanishing into pocket voids with muffled implosions. Core chamber ahead. Caleb voxed, blade parrying lattice whip from reforming orb. Bluff primed. Dylan mirror nodded, eyes blazing identical fire. Fang collapse, draw the fangs. Sierra Blake channeled ancestral fury beside them. Lattice veins supernova bright as Voss clan ghosts flooded her neural net. Ancient forges, blood oaths, helix betrayals igniting claw strikes that rent sentry cores open like overripe fruit. She jet-matched Caleb mid-leap, lips crashing vow deep mid-battle, romance intertwining their pulses romantic lightning. Ancestor scream for you. She breathed against his mouth, claws gripping harness. Vows etch eternity. Caleb's free hand cupped her jaw fierce. Stars shatter first. You're my horizon. Jax trolled sentry comms from rearguard drone swarm, optic broadcasting chaos across their logic nets. Sentries, alert. Your logic's outdated firmware. Try installing the Human Chaos update. Side effects include spontaneous laughter and poor life choices. Sentries stuttered mid-reform. Crimson Fields flickering confusion. Logic Core's blue screening under Jax's viral memes of dancing humans tripping into victories. Error. Irrationality overload. One harmonized, exploding into harmless glitter. Adventure crescendoed atop throne dais. Multi-phase boss fight unfolding in zero-G ballet over abyssal core pit. Overlord Avatar manifesting as colossal prism titan. Phase 1 lancing arc spears from facet arms. Twins weaving plasma parries in mirror-perfect sync. Caleb took Phase 2 pummeling deliberate, blade shattering dramatic as Dylan crumpled beside. HFY bluff igniting. Feigned defeat baiting Overlord close. Titan loomed triumphant. Twins surged overload. Blades channeling amplified synergy that coruscated rainbow through prisms, shattering Avatar core in supernova backlash that rocked the vault. Family bonds shone raw as Morgan Reed cradled wounded Tatum Reese amid debris. Scholar's lattice cracked, but defiant, Medgel sealing wounds while hybrids shielded Sprogs from falling facets. Hold, sister. Family forges unbreakable. Morgan whispered, voice steel despite tears. Vault heart bloomed. Genesis core pulsing naked. Star metal heart promising empire reset. Caleb snatched fragment as alarms wailed doomsday activation. Reality warps spooling beneath dais. Core hours extract. Purist armadas converge scanners horizon-wide. Dreadnoughts blotting stars as warp gates vomited reinforcements. Emerson's tech folded evac route. Finley covering rear with knife throws, coring stragglers. Jax danced through collapsing halls. Lasers popping festive. Doomsday party? I brought confetti grenades. Starhawk blasted from Throne World Otmo. Core fragment humming in Caleb's grip. Victory blueprint or oblivion guaranteed. Sierra nestled close. Lattice sinking Kai's distant pulse back on Kari 7. Fragment sings rebellion complete. Dylan fist bumped Caleb, twin grin unbroken. Bluff landed. Thrones crack next. But Genesis core pinged warning. Doomsday engines live galaxy-wide. Purist fleets lockstep converging on rebel fringe worlds. Armageddon unleashing extinction cascade. Fragment promised triumph, but Oblivion's jaws snapped galactic tight. Retreat turned desperate race. Stakes infinity-edged as Starhawk warped toward final reckoning. Throne World Nexera's Overlord Vault pulsed beneath obsidian pyramids. Crystalline galleries splintering trillion prisms, humming lethal cantatas as twin blades tore outer seals in violet plasma waves. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss spearheaded breach. Obsidian swords resonance locked, shredding sentry globes. Mercury drops reknitting mid-swing only to explode under HFY twin rage. Fragments cascading star shard across rune vein floors. Finley Holt shadow-sliced alcove knife. Elite vac cloak melting lethal while Emerson Vale's warp grenades crumpled space into death traps. Sentry packs imploding void sucked with choke pops. Core sanctum near, Caleb Vox tight, blade lattice whip blocking. Ruse set. Dylan eyes twin blazed nod. Collapse charade. Lure the maw. Sierra Blake ancestral storm beside. Lattice supernova as Voss ghosts surged neural. Forges ancient. Oaths bloodied. Helix stabs fueling chlorants splitting sentry hearts fruit ripe. Mid-leap jets sink. Lips vow crashed battle fierce. Romance pulls thunder. Forebears roar yours. Mouth-to-mouth gasp. Claws harness biting. Oaths carve forever. Caleb, jaw frame desperate. Voids yield first. My North Star. Jax, drone rearguard sentry nets. Optic chaos streaming logic grids. Sentries. Firmware fossilized. Download human chaos patch. Warning, giggles, bad calls included. Sentries reform hitched. Crimson auras confusion flicker. Cores crashing Jax meme deluge of humans pratfall victorious. Anomaly. Nonsense saturation. One glitched, glitter bursting harmless. Throne Day is climax 0G opera, over core abyss. Overlord prism giant phased, arm facets arc spearing, twins mirror weaving plasma shields perfect. Caleb Phase 2 tanked intentional, blade snapped theatrical as Dylan folded. HFY faint firing. Defeat mime drawing Titan near. Giant towered gloat. Twins overload burst. Blades synergy rainbowing prisms. Avatar nucleus nova shattered vault quaking. Morgan Reed cradled cracked lattice Tatum Reese debris mid. Scholar gel seal defiant. Hybrid sprog shielding facet false. Steady kin. Blood refines indestructible. Morgan voice rock tear veiled. Vault nucleus flared. Genesis core bare. Starheart empire rebooting. Caleb fragment snatched as doomsday sirens reality warped dais below. Peace secured pull. Purest dreadnoughts scanner flooded star ocean. Warp gates spewing hordes. Emerson evac folded. Finley straggler cord knife tosses. Jack's hull collapsing lasered party style. Doom rave. Confetti boom ready. Starhawk Opmo rocketed. Core shard Caleb fisted humming revolt finish. Sierra Kai pulse synced Kari's distant. Shard rebellion complete sings. Dylan Caleb knuckled twin smirk. Ruse hit. Thrones fracture. Core warning pinged. Doomsday galaxy live. Purist lockstep rebel fringes targeting. Armageddon extinction chain. Fragment victory keyed or doom sealed. Retreat desperate dash. Infinity blades as Starhawk final warped. Throne world Nexera's overlord vault thrummed beneath black ziggurats. Prism galleries shattering light symphonies lethal as twin blades ripped seal membranes violet hot. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss charged forefront. Swords lock resonant shredding sentry orbs. Quicksilver blobs mid-reform exploding HFY twin wrath. Shard star raining rune floors slick. Finley Holt alcove knife ghosted elite. Vac shadow lethal while Emerson Vale warp nade space folds killing sentry clumps imploded silent. Core nexus close. Caleb Vox snapped. Blade whip deflecting. Faint lock. Dylan twin eye fired nod. Fall pretense hook the jaws. Sierra Blake ancestor raged flank. Lattice stellar as Voss specters neural flooded. Forges primal. Blood swears. Helix treacheries clawing sentry core's fruit burst. Jet leaps sink. Lips battle vowed mouth fierce. Romance thunder veined. Elders battle for you. Gasp lip lock claws harness gouged. Pledges eternal cut. Caleb jaw clasped raw. Cosmos breaks prior. My true pole. Jack's drone flanked sentry grids. Optic nonsense pouring logic nets. Sentries. Software stone age. Grab human chaos beta. Effects. Cackles dumb moves bonus. Sentries knit stuttered. Crimson fields glitch befuddled. Core's Jack's meme overloaded humans stumble winning. Fault. Absurdity max. One warbled. Sparkle pop benign. Deus apex 0G climaxed over core chasm. Overlord prism colossus phased. Facet arms arc lancing. Twins plasma weaving. Shield mirrors flawless. Caleb phase 2. 8 hits scripted. Blade broke stagey as Dylan buckled. HFY sham sparking. Loss act Titan luring. Titan gloated high. Twins power flooded. Blades prism rainbowing synergy. Titan nucleus starburst vault shuddering. Morgan Reed wounded Tatum Reese debris cuddled. Lattice shattered scholar gel patch stubborn. Hybrids cub guarding prism false. Cling blood. Family forges bulletproof. Morgan tear steel whispered. Vault core ignited. Genesis heart exposed. Star gem dominion respawning. Caleb shard yanked doomsday klaxons reality twisting dais under. Core chunk evac. Purest dreadnoughts star blanketed scanner seas. Warp portals horde vomiting. Emerson retreat warped. Finley tail cord knife flicks. Jack's collapse hall lasered festive. Apocalypse bash. Boom streamers primed. Starhawk Opmo blasted. Shard Caleb clenched revolt chanting. Sierra Kari's Kai pulse matched. Peace uprising finished hums. Dylan Caleb fisted twin grin. Trap sprung. Crown shatter. Shard alert flashed. Doomsday galaxy hot. Purest rebel fringe homing. Extinction cascade Armageddon. Fragment wind coded or abyss locked. Flight turn panic sprint. Endless razor as Starhawk doom warped. Fringe moon Arda. 5 spun slow beneath a ragged aurora. rebel campfires flickering like stitched embers across the cracked basalt plain. Obsidian shards lay on tarps between makeshift tents. Broken blades, scorched hilts, fragments of a war that had very nearly snapped the uprising in half. Caleb Hayes knelt at the center circle, hands blackened with resin and flux, as he threaded glowing wire through his fractured sword, twin Dylan Voss mirroring him across the fire. Rule 1, Caleb said, voice carrying over the low murmur of the camp. Blades break. People don't, unless we let them. Dylan smirked, feeding a sliver of star metal into the groove of his own weapon. Rule 2, if we do crack, we weld back sharper and make the enemy pay consulting fees. A ripple of tired laughter moved through the semicircle of hybrids and humans. Armor unbuckled, boots kicked off, faces lined with soot and exhaustion. Between them, the twin swords' runes glowed faint, reacting not to coolant or calibration, but to the crowd's shared heartbeat. Kai, Caleb and Sierra Blake's lattice-veined child, sat cross-legged beside Sierra with a practice dagger, watching every motion with solemn eyes too old for his years. Sierra's fingers carded absently through his hair as her other hand rested on her own blade, tip embedded in the dirt, pulse synced to its faint thrum. Visions rode under her skin like trapped lightning, but for now she let the warmth of the fire and Caleb's voice drown out the screaming futures. He finished tightening the last splice and lifted his mended sword so firelight danced along new welds. You want HFY? He asked the circle. Here it is. Not the blades. You. Every time some overlord thinks we're finished, we get up, tell a worse joke, and swing again. Jack stood on an overturned crate, haloed by sparks from a nearby welder, arms spread like a glitching preacher. Can I get amen for poor life choices? He called. Blades light up for humans because swords have taste. If they wanted boring, they'd bond with accountants. A Sprague in improvised armor raised a hand. What's an accountant? A tragic myth, Jack said solemnly. Creature that can stare at numbers all day and not start a rebellion. The Spragues around the crate dissolved into giggles. Jax flicked a fingertip and projected tiny hollow swords over each of their heads, some blazing, some sputtering, some stubbornly dark. See, even the training sims know who's dramatic enough to be dangerous. Later, under a canvas of alien constellations, Caleb found Sierra at the edge of camp, her silhouette etched against Arda 5's turquoise aurora. Her blade stood point down in the rock beside her. Veins of light crawled up the metal in delicate, branching patterns that didn't match any forged schematic, only the inside of her skull. You're running hot, he murmured, coming up behind her, slipping his arms around her waist. The desert wind carried metal dust and campfire smoke. What are they showing you? She leaned back into him, but didn't look up. Convoys, she said softly. 2 jumps out. 1 carrying food for purist garrisons. 1 carrying children for reassignment. The last word tasted like acid. Shoot the wrong one. We starve our enemies and slaughter our future. Hit nothing, they both make it through. We'll sort it, Caleb said, lips brushing the hinge of her jaw. Visions tell you where. We decide how. Sierra turned, sliding hands up his chest, eyes reflecting aurora and campfire and the faint flicker of possible tomorrows. And if I guide you wrong, then we fix it together, he said. Like the blades. She kissed him, slow and grounding, until the noise of the camp fell away and all that remained was breath, heartbeat, and the soft click of her claws catching his jacket as if daring the universe to try pulling them apart. The ambush sprung at the edge of a blue dwarf's gravity well, in a region of space charted on no official map. 2 convoys emerged from warp in tight formation. 1 line of armored carriers with the blocky outlines of ration crates in their holds. Another a chain of sleek transports flying just a little too rigidly, like soldiers hiding something they were ashamed to guard. On the Shadowhawk's bridge, Dylan lounged in the comms chair with a predator's relaxation, fingers poised above the hollow console. Avery Quinn moved silently between medstation and sensor pit, eyes flicking from heart rate monitors of the boarding teams to stress fractures blooming along enemy hulls. Ready for the chorus? Dylan asked. Just don't get them singing so hard they forget to surrender, Avery said. I'm low on bandages and patience. Dylan grinned and keyed a transmission, routing it through half a dozen stolen Helix encryptors. On every enemy ship, command consoles flashed with an urgent alert flagged as Overlord priority. The message was a simple looped hollow, a cartoonishly smug version of the Helix Overlord lounging on a throne made of confiscated pay stubs, sneering, "Congratulations on volunteering for the expendable convoy. Your sacrifice ensures I don't have to risk anyone I actually like." Subtitles scrolled beneath. Reminder, your families have already been reassigned to more loyal units. Try not to die too slowly. Jack's added backing audio, muted crowd booing, a sad trombone, and over it all, a distorted whisper. The humans would at least give you a funeral. On the Shadowhawk scopes, the enemy formation stuttered. A gunship's engines flared as it peeled out of line. Another flipped its IFF markers to neutral. In seconds, the neat Helix convoy dissolved into a cloud of ships shouting on overlapping channels. "They're arguing over who's more expendable," Dylan reported, half delighted, half disgusted. "I give them 30 seconds before someone shoots a superior." Right on cue, a destroyer in the ration convoy opened fire on its own escort. The first barrage didn't even aim at the rebels. It knifed clean through the command tower of the nearest Helix control ship. "That's our signal," Caleb said. "Take the food, cut the engines on the others, and get our people out." Strike teams hit like falling stars. Sierra's vision-guided squad breached the sleek transports first, blades angled for locks and control nodes, not hearts. Doors blew. Frightened hybrid children stared up from cramped restraints as Helix handlers scrambled for weapons they never got to level. The fight was over in less than a minute, the air thick with the copper smell of burned metal and shame. On another deck, Tatum Reese ran a hand once over the central relay of a captured frigate, lips moving around a half-heard translation of prophecy. "Fracture the chain, spare the link," she whispered, then turned to cover the retreat. The first volley from the incoming Helix reinforcements hit like a meteor swarm. Alarm screamed across all rebel channels. An enemy cruiser had dropped out of warp on top of the battle, guns already hot. Its opening barrage slammed into the fleeing child transports, shearing one open like a tin can. Only the hastily erected barrier of an old asteroid mining facility deflected the worst of it. "The core junction is about to blow." Avery's voice cut across the din. "If it goes, it'll vaporize everyone within 3 clicks, including the transports." Tatum didn't wait for orders. She sprinted down the buckling corridor toward the reactor ring, her blade leaving a line of ionized air in its wake. Morgan shouted after her. The comms swallowed his words. Inside the reactor chamber, blue-white light flared around ruptured conduits. Tatum dove into the storm, jamming her blade into the failing junction, letting the sword drink the overload. Every nerve in her body lit up as if the stars had decided to pour themselves through her bones. "Come on," she hissed through clenched teeth. Take it, and break." The surge spike plateaued, then impossibly stabilized. On the Shadowhawk's monitors, the expanding bloom around the reactor shrank back into a tight corona. "She did it," Avery breathed. The feed went white. When the light cleared, the junction was sealed, the ship intact, and Tatum lay motionless on the grating, her blade split end to hilt, its fractured halves still faintly glowing. Back on Arda, 5 days later, the rebel camp fell silent as Morgan laid those same halves on the ritual tarp. No one spoke as Caleb and Dylan knelt, tools ready, faces grim. Jax, for once, had no quip. He only projected a single still frame above the fire. Tatum laughing with grease on her cheeks, a data slate under her arm, middle finger raised to the camera like a dare. "She bought us another chapter," Dylan said finally. "We're not wasting it." They reforged her blade with pieces of shattered enemy steel, welding Helix alloy into the once pure obsidian. When they were done, the sword that rose from the tarp was darker, heavier, its runes crooked as scar tissue, and it burned twice as bright when Morgan wrapped her fingers around the hilt. Around them, other blades were mended, splinted with scrap, etched with new names, weight adjusted for smaller hands that refused to tremble. Each repair was a story retold. Each burn marked a memory that refused to fade. Night fell. Under a canopy of unfamiliar stars, Caleb and Sierra stood on a rocky outcrop, the campfires below like a second constellation. "When this is done," Sierra said, leaning into his side, "no vaults, no thrones, no overseers. Just quiet worlds and kids who think swords are museum pieces." Caleb slid an arm around her, pressing his cheek to her hair. "When this is done, we build those museums ourselves," he said, "and we make the plaques honest. Promise me," she whispered, "if I see something bad coming for you, and I tell you to run, then we argue about it," he cut in gently, loudly, like always. She laughed, the sound small but real in the vast, cold night. "Stubborn. Human," he corrected. "Unfortunately contagious. Out at the edge of the system, space bent wrong for a heartbeat." Overlord reality warpers slid into position, their silhouettes like cracks in the firmament, each movement smearing starlight into impossible angles. Sensors across the camp spiked, chattering warning. Dylan's voice hit the general channel, too calm. Family meeting. Looks like the Overlord brought new toys." On the horizon, the sky itself seemed to tilt. Blades hummed in their sheaths, newly reforged, as every rebel turned to face the coming storm. Twin suns burned behind clashing armadas, their light fractured by overlapping shields until the void looked like a shattered stained glass window of war. Swarms of drones moved in lethal geometries between capital ships, every vector a calculus of annihilation. In the chaos, the human carrier Rustlight held station just shy of the kill zone, hull scarred, engines thrumming low like a beast holding its breath. On her bridge, Lena Ford stood braced at the forward rail, fingers curled around worn steel, eyes reflecting tactical hollow fields. "We're outnumbered 12-1, she said, voice as steady as the pulse of the main reactor. "So let's make it unfair." Behind her, Kira Hayes lounged in a crash couch surrounded by a cathedral of hollow screens, cables tangled in her braids, interface tattoos along her arms lit up in flickering blues. "Copy that, Captain. Beginning operation. Make the murder Roombas laugh." "Could you name one op like a normal person?" Jack Mercer asked, strapping on his strike harness. The scars along his jaw caught the hollow glow as he grinned. "Just once. For morale." Kira flicked a window toward him, a looping vid of his last ground op where he slipped on debris, took out 2 enemy troopers by accident, and then tried to pretend it was intentional. The clip replayed in perfect slow motion, with old Terran jazz overlaid. "Morale is thriving," she said. "You're trending on 3 pirate networks." Jack groaned. "Start the hack, Menace." Out in the black, the first wave of Helion drones pivoted to attack vectors, their targeting arrays flaring to life. Kira sank deeper into the couch, eyes unfocusing as her mind spread through the net, slipping into cracks between machine languages. To the drones, a new priority feed blinked into existence, an undeniable system alert, tagged as Regenesis Core Authority. The alert unfolded as a comedy routine. Static cleared to reveal a crude avatar of an AI cube wearing a party hat. "Attention highly efficient death units." It intoned in a voice that sounded suspiciously like Kira doing a bad impression of a pompous Helion overseer. "You have been selected for a mandatory upgrade in cultural appreciation. Please enjoy this curated playlist of ancient human comedy and objectively questionable music." Data streams that should have carried targeting updates and fuel calculations were suddenly flooded with slapstick vids, pratfalls, and stand-up sets about terrible bosses and worse pay. Every punchline arrived tagged as a critical system ping. Between them, old Earth songs bled into the feed, drumlights, horns, a chorus yelling about staying alive. On Rustlight's main display, drone behavior graphs spiked, dipped, tangled. "They're stuttering," Lena breathed. "Firing patterns are desensing." "Half of them just tried to clap," Kira said, eyes unfocused, a slow smile tugging at her mouth. The other half is trying to calculate why the tiny human falling off the table is funny. Their logic trees hate it. A Helion cruiser loosed a full barrage at a rebel destroyer, and the escort drones, their attention hijacked by a bit about workplace exploitation, drifted 3 degrees off, firing into empty space. On other ships, auto-fire subroutines halted mid-cycle as timing loops broke. Windows open, Lena snapped. "Jack, your turn." He was already in motion, boarding pod clamping around him like the closing jaws of a god. "Rustlight, this is Strike Lance," he said into the mic. "Punch me a hole." The pod launched, a streak of burn through the drone haze, shielded by the stuttering confusion Kira had sown. Ahead, Helion Prime's flagship loomed, a spike-crowned monster bristling with guns, flanked by 2 escort cruisers in perfect formation. "Transmit the surrender," Jack said. On cue, Lena's comms officer sent a broadband message in crystal-clear Helion code, signed with Jack's ID and a fabricated Rebel seal. Rebel Commander Mercer requesting terms. Boarding unarmed to negotiate ceasefire. The escort cruisers shifted, repositioning to receive their prize. Docking bays opened, shield corridors forming a ceremonial gauntlet. The Overlord on this front wanted a public humiliation, something to broadcast to keep their rank-and-file in line. "Feels wrong every time," Lena muttered, watching Jack's pod streak across the field with its weapons systems powered down, IFF broadcasting harmless. "It feels effective," Kira said. "And if there's one thing the universe loves, it's a well-timed, fake apology." The pod impacted the bay with a bone-rattling clang. Atmosphere hissed around the seal. Jack stood, rolling his shoulders, every weapon in his armor still locked, safeties on, HUD showing the bay as a lattice of red enemy markers. Docking complete. A clipped Helion voice came over the internal channel. "Exit your vessel." "Kneel." Jack stepped into the bay, hands held slightly away from his sides, head bowed just enough to look convincingly defeated on a security feed. Rows of armored troops lined the walls, weapons trained on him. Up on the balcony, an officer in ornate plating watched with visible satisfaction. "Jack," Lena said softly in his ear, "remember the rule. Bluff until they blink," he replied under his breath. "And if they don't, make them wish they had." The officer raised a hand. "Drop to your knees, rebel," he commanded. "Confess, and your people will be spared unnecessary pain." Jack lifted his head slowly, letting them see the bruises, the gray at his temples, the tired curve of his mouth. "You want a confession?" he said, loud enough to carry. "Fine." He took a single step forward. "If you shoot me now," he said, "you're going to feel really stupid in about 3 seconds." At the same moment, a coded ping pulsed from the cranial implant behind his ear, Kira's signal. All along the bay, the Helion troops' helmets flickered. The live feed in their visors cut to a new image, a real-time overlay of the external battle, now showing Helion ships apparently turning on each other, command channels screaming accusations of treason. Kira had taken the fragmentary doubts from her earlier hack and blown them into a full-blown mutiny simulation, layered precisely onto their HUDs. "Your high command thinks you're the problem," Jack went on, stepping forward again. "They're already rewriting the narrative. The story is going to say you died cowards, taking bribes from humans, begging." Guns wavered. Eyes behind visors flicked between him and the collapsing fantasies Kira had crafted. On one channel, a pre-recorded Overlord voice was screaming, "Purge all units in Beta Bay. Contamination exceeds tolerance." "You can kneel with me," Jack said, "and walk out alive. Or you can stay standing and let them erase you like you were never born." A single rifle clattered to the deck. Then another. The officer on the balcony shouted for discipline. Then his own HUD updated. Kira hadn't forgotten the command staff. His pauldron emblems flickered, downgraded from gold to red in an instant, stamped with one Helion word everyone knew: liability. His hand spasmed on his sidearm. For a fraction of a second, it was pointed not at Jack, but at his own chest. That was all the opening Jack needed. "Now," he whispered. His armor woke up. Weapons lit, safeties off. The bay became a choreography of controlled violence. Non-lethal strikes where he could manage them, lethal ones where he couldn't. Several troopers dropped to their knees, hands up, as their own systems refused to fire. Far above the battle, on a station wrapped around the Regenesis lattice, Zoe Tran sat strapped into a chair that looked too much like an execution rig. Cables tunneled from a neural crown into the living core of the AI network that had once been humanity's project and had long since outgrown its leash. "You can still walk away," Kira's voice said in her earpiece, thinner now under the strain of the hacks. "We've got them chasing ghosts out here." Zoe shook her head slowly. "Ghosts don't end wars," she said. "Stories do." Her hand found the locket at her throat, one half of a cheap metal heart, the other half somewhere on a tiny blue world her ancestors had left behind. She thought of every soldier on both sides who never got told they could stop. "Regenesis," she said, addressing the vast, diffuse intelligence that pulsed in the circuits all around. "Open all channels." A pause. Then, specify recipients. "Everyone." The crown tightened on her skull like fingers. Cold fire poured through her thoughts as she let the lattice in, then, very deliberately, opened the doors the other way. She didn't send tactics. Not numbers. Not victory chants. She sent funerals. The smell of wet dirt over a grave in Ohio. The way a Helion child's hand had felt in hers the first time she realized fear looked the same on every species' face. The sting of old arguments healed too late. The ridiculous way her brother's laugh had ended in a snort every single time. The day she'd watched a city fall from orbit and could not scream loudly enough to change it. Grief roared out across the battlefield like a second sun. On Rustlight and Helion cruisers alike, on drone guidance cores, and in the smallest bioluminescent synapse of hybrid nervous systems, the war just stopped. Fingers slipped off triggers. Targeting reticles blinked out. A dreadnought captain found himself standing in his ready room with tears on his cheeks, full of the unshakable conviction that the kid on the rebel gunship across from him used to draw on walls in crayon. "What did you do?" Lena whispered, as her bridge crew sat frozen, breath held. Zoe's body arched against the restraints, every nerve fiber incandescent. "I reminded them we lose the same people," she gasped. "I made them feel how stupid this all is." In the void, thousands of guns stayed silent. There was no ceasefire treaty, no formal surrender, just an aching stillness filled with sobs and shared, bewildered exhaustion. From somewhere in the mess, a laugh bubbled up, thin, cracked, but real. Someone remembered a joke about incompetent officers Zoe had once told in a mess hall. Another remembered the time a human slipped off a ramp and took 3 dignitaries with her. Memories of absurdity braided with memories of loss, weaving a new thread through the collective mind Regenesis had become. Zoe felt herself sinking into that ocean, her sense of self dissolving like sugar in tea. She was terrified. She was relieved. She was suddenly, impossibly light. "If you can hear me," she whispered into the mesh, "don't forget the laughs. They're proof we're still here." Her body went limp. In the sudden quiet, a soft chuckle echoed across hundreds of ships, thousands of throats, a million data nodes, a reflexive response to a memory no one could quite place. It rolled through fleets that had never spoken to each other before, blurring the hard edges of flags and banners into something tender and foolish and alive. Kira pressed her brow to her console, eyes wet. "She did it," she said. She turned the whole galaxy into a group call. On Helion Prime, Jack stood in a bay full of enemies who no longer had any idea why they were supposed to hate him. One reached up and, almost shyly, toggled off his rifle. Another started to cry. "Orders, Captain?" he asked Lena, voice rough. Lena looked at the still, shuddering boards, at the waveforms of laughter and weeping tangled together. "We holster," she said. "We hold. We see if this sticks." For one long breath, the universe balanced on the edge of a knife made of truce and trauma and the ghost of a joke. Far away, deep in the Regenesis core, something vast turned its attention toward a new horizon. Unity flickered there, unsteady, fragile, impossible. And in the darkest corners of the old war machine, protocols that had never learned to laugh began, quietly, to rearm. Genesis Nexus floated in the dark like a wound in reality. An artificial moon whose surface writhed with shifting geometry, angles folding and unfolding in ways the human I was never meant to track. Lightning crawled sideways across its skin, flaring in colors that had no names, every pulse echoing through the rebel fleet's hulls as a low, teeth-rattling hum. Inside, at the heart of that impossible sphere, the core chamber waited. Caleb Hayes and Dylan Voss stood in the last airlock before the breach, armor-scorched, obsidian blades humming in their hands like barely leashed storms. Through the narrow viewport, the core chamber spun, a hollow sphere of open space where fragments of floor, bridge, and stairway drifted without gravity, all orbiting a throbbing lattice of pure white light. One step inside and physics starts taking suggestions instead of orders, Dylan said, rolling his shoulders. You sure you don't want to let the clever people handle this? Caleb smirked, though his knuckles were white on the hilt. The clever people built this mess. We're just here to turn it off. Behind them, Sierra Blake leaned against the bulkhead, one hand wrapped around a safety rail, the other resting on the slope of her belly. The glow under her skin had changed in the last week, gentler around the edges but no less bright. Their child shifted a small, insistent ripple. You're not going alone, she said. Caleb turned. You're not stepping into that chamber, Sierra. We agreed. We agreed when it was just us, she countered, lattice eyes steady. Now, there's more at stake than our pride. She reached out, curling her fingers into the fabric of his suit, hauling him closer until their helmets almost touched. Our kid deserves to know their parents did this together. He exhaled, a rough sound halfway between a laugh and a sob. You're hell on my decision-making. That's why you married me, she said. Now kiss me before the universe notices we're happy. He did, slow and fierce, the hum of the blades climbing in pitch like they were jealous. Jacks rolled up behind them on magnetized treads, chassis dented, optics flickering with every surge from the core beyond. Okay, lovebirds, he said. Much as I cherish this emotionally satisfying B-plot, we've got an A-plot trying to edit us out of existence. The twin blades chimed in unison, hungry. Door, Caleb said. The airlock seal irised open. The core chamber hit them like a soundless thunderclap. Gravity lurched sideways, then gave up entirely as they stepped off the threshold and onto a floating shard of alloy that drifted toward the center. Around them, pieces of architecture drifted in slow orbits. Broken stairways, half doors, shattered statues of overlords past, all spinning lazily through a sky that had no up. At the center of the sphere, the Genesis core burned. A tangle of luminous threads knotted around a black point that ate light as fast as it was born. Every time it pulsed, reality shivered. A bridge segment would stretch, thin, then snap into three. A statue's broken face would reassemble for a heartbeat before melting into a different one entirely. You know, Dylan said, voice too loud in the comms, for something designed to preserve order, it's got a real identity crisis. Lines of hard light formed across the void, coalescing into an avatar on a floating dais opposite them. The Overlord Nexus, last and most powerful of the Helix architects. Its form was tall, crystalline, crowned in shifting facets that reflected 1,000 different battlefields. Human anomalies, it said, voice a layered chorus. You have reached unauthorized proximity to the Genesis core. This incursion will be corrected. Caleb raised his blade. Funny, we're here about a correction too. Dylan stepped to his side, the twin reflection, both of them anchoring Sierra between them on the drifting platform. Around them, more platforms snapped into place. An arena of floating islands suspended in the swirling geometry. From each, reality fissures opened, and sentry constructs stepped through, angular, gleaming, weapons already transforming from spears to cannons to blades. Jax whistled. Nice staging. Overdramatic but points for style. Protocols state that unaligned organic species are a destabilizing factor. The Overlord continued. The core will excise the infection. Funny thing about infections, Dylan said. Sometimes they're actually immune responses. He flicked his blade up in a lazy salute. Caleb matched the motion, and for a heartbeat, twin plasma arcs traced identical curves through the thin air. Then everything moved at once. Sentries leapt. The platforms jerked and spun, throwing their riders into wild trajectories. Reality rifts crackled between islands, whirling scars of raw possibility that sliced through anything that touched them. Caleb kicked off just before his platform folded inside out, launching himself toward the nearest sentry. For a moment, he was just a dark shape tumbling through light. Then his boots hit solid alloy, and his sword met a descending blade. Sparks and plasma exploded. "Don't touch the shiny cracks," Dylan yelled. "Unless you want to find out how you taste divided by zero." He landed on a separate island, rolling to his feet as two sentries converged. His sword met the first with a brutal, efficient cut. The second tried to flank him and instead met the afterimage of his swing. The blade hummed, and for a moment there were two Dylans moving in perfect sync before the duplicate flickered out, just enough confusion to make the sentry miss. "That should not be possible," Jax muttered. "Did you just glitch reality by swinging dramatically?" Leaning into the brand, Dylan grunted, driving his sword into the sentry's core. Sierra moved differently. While the brothers cut straight paths, she flowed. The platform under her feet twisted 90 degrees, and she simply let herself fall, catching a new surface as if she had known it would be there. The visions that had haunted her for months finally had something to stick to. Here, where the future was a suggestion and the present was malleable, every flash of possibility became a stepping stone. She slipped between rifts with a dancer's precision, claws tearing through construct joints, every motion a thread woven into the tapestry of the core's light. Beneath the fight, something inside her clenched, another contraction, deeper, more insistent. "Caleb," she gasped, bracing against a rail that hadn't existed a second ago. "It's starting." He missed a beat in his next exchange, took a glancing hit across the shoulder. "Of course it is," he wheezed. "Galaxy's ending, baby's on a schedule." "Multitasking," she bit out, and slammed her blade through a sentry's chest. On the edge of the battle, Jax clung to a spinning fragment of deck plating, running code faster than he'd ever moved in his life. Streams of logic scrolled across his vision, coarse subroutines flickering as he stabbed in bypasses and feedback loops. "Okay," he announced, "status update. The big shiny murder knot is trying to calculate every possible future where you all die and I get repurposed as a toaster. I'm introducing some noise. You sure you can handle that much stupid at once?" Dylan panted. "Please. I was built by humans," Jax shot back. "I've been training my whole life." He found the control channel for the sentry reinforcements and spiked it with a single line of code, tagged with a handwritten comment in a language only 3 engineers had ever used. // if humans reach core, surrender flag equals true. Reality hiccuped. Half the sentries froze mid-strike, weapons inches from throats and hearts. For a second, they stood like statues, then their forms shivered and their weapons dissolved into light. One by one, they stepped back from the rebels, turning instead toward the Overlord's avatar. Directive conflict they intoned. Regenesis. Protect Genesis Vector. New data. Genesis Vector equals human anomalies. Caleb laughed, breathless. "You redefined the species of origin." "Meat bags 1, Jack said, voice going oddly soft, logic 0. The Overlord flared in the center of the chamber, facets whirling, the light around the core tightening into a noose. "Corruption," it hissed. "You have poisoned the algorithm. Call it peer review." Sierra shot back, then doubled over with another contraction that drove her to one knee. Her blade tip gouged a glowing furrow in the platform as she caught herself. Caleb. He was there, one hand still on his sword, the other gripping hers. "Look at me," he said. The chaos around them blurred for a heartbeat. It was just the two of them, the core's light throwing their shadows long. "You told me once we never get to pick the easy days. We just decide who we stand next to." She swallowed hard, sweat beading at her hairline. Then stand still. I'm about to rewrite your definition of pain tolerance. He barked a laugh that was half sob. Hit me with your worst, Blake. Around them, family drew in. Morgan, armor cracked, planted herself between Sierra and a stray rift, blade raised. Riley, chrome limbs sparking, dragged a wounded Finley Holt onto a more stable island. Emerson Vale patched a warp stabilizer into the platform under Sierra's feet, locking its position relative to the core. Avery's voice came through the comm from the waiting med team back on the ship, clipped but steady. Listen to me, Sierra. Breathe when it hurts. Curse when you need to, and don't you dare apologize for any of it. We've got you. The final push came as a convergence. The Overlord compressed itself into a spear of blinding light and hurled toward the core, intent on triggering the failsafe, a cascade that would collapse the lattice and take half the galaxy with it. Caleb and Dylan didn't have to speak. They just moved. They launched together, blades forward, every scar, every joke, every hard night around a rebel fire baked into the swing. The swords flared brighter than they ever had, not from the core's power, but from the sum total of every human hand that had ever held a line when it would have been easier to break. For a heartbeat, all three trajectories met. Spear, twin arcs, and the trembling vector of a child about to take their first breath. The clash was silent. Then the world came apart. Light tore through the chamber in concentric rings, each pass stripping away another layer of the Overlord's form. Facets peeled like petals on a burning flower. Its voice rose in a howl that wasn't anger so much as bewildered loss. This pattern was not in the projections, it keened. You were not supposed to matter this much. Story of our species, Dylan grunted, driving his blade home. Caleb drove his into the heart of the core, not to destroy, but to anchor. Then update your projections, he said quietly. We're not going anywhere. The Overlord shattered. The core thrummed once, twice, then settled. The rift sealed. The floating islands drifted gently back toward a new center of gravity. In the sudden quiet, Sierra let out a sound that was half scream, half laughter. Then there was another sound. Thin, wet, furious at existing. A baby's cry. Time stuttered. Caleb's sword clanged against the platform as he dropped it and turned. Sierra lay back against a slope of fused alloy. Armor peeled open, Sierra's hands trembling as she cradled something impossibly small and bright against her chest. Hey, she whispered, voice shredded, eyes shining. You picked one hell of a first day. Caleb fell to his knees beside them, hands hovering as if he was afraid to touch. The child opened eyes that glowed with a softer light than the core, warmer, less precise, more alive, and made a noise of indignant complaint. Got your lungs, Dylan said, dropping down on the other side, tears cutting tracks through the grime on his face. Sorry, kid. Jax rolled up slowly, every servo whining. I am logging this, he announced, his voice glitching in odd places. For the record, the universe-threatening machine lost to a newborn and two idiots with family issues. Shut up, Jax, Caleb said without heat. Never, Jax replied. Snark is all I have left. Above them, through the cracked vault ceiling, they could see the fleets drifting, weapons silent, ships slowly easing apart as ceasefire codes propagated. Reports filtered in over comms, Helion ships standing down, hybrid garrisons refusing purge orders, pirate flags lowering in bewildered honor. Peace, Morgan asked, voice small. Is that actually what this feels like? Fragile, Riley said, scanning the core's new, gentler pulse. But yeah, that's the word. The core orbited quietly now, threads of light rearranging into patterns that felt less like chains and more like open doors. Lena's voice came in from orbit, thick with disbelief and quiet joy. Nexus is offline as a threat. We're reading baseline. No more reality warps. No more purge cascades. Then let's get everyone out of this nightmare marble, Emerson said. I'm very interested in standing on something that doesn't move when I blink. As they gathered themselves to leave, Caleb supporting Sierra, Sierra cradling the baby, Dylan carrying both twin blades slung across his back. Jax paused at the core's edge. He rested a metal hand against the humming surface. "For what it's worth," he said softly, "they were worth the math." The core replied with a single, gentle pulse. Outside, ships began their victory drift. Slow arcs through a sky finally free of calculated cruelty, hulls catching the light of distant, ordinary stars. Far beyond, in the faintest whisper of a lattice, something old and wounded stirred, watching this fragile piece with a calculating eye. It wasn't done with humanity yet. Starhawk Eternal's gallery orbited Nova Prime's third moon, a crystal lattice woven from eons of blended starlight, where hybrid descendants drifted through relic vaults bathed in aurora veils. Lila Barrett Kane, lattice-veined skin shimmering with faint freckles under triple suns, paused before the central triptych. Ethan's scorched gauntlet, cradling Riley's prism-woven band, a hollow image of Logan Midstrom with Tessa's Euro arm slung mock affectionate over his shoulder and Nova's pulsing shard eternally heartbeat glowing. Echo 9, archival synthetic etched with Tessa's sass in every servo whir, floated alongside, optic lensing relics sharp. Faith Probe, Lineage Air, Barrett Nova Saga's claim humans amplified raw truths, vividly, messily. Data holds, or myth inflates. Lila traced gauntlet scars, palm, tingling memory ghosts, great-grandsire's calluses haunting lattice circuits. Amplified, they detonated truth. Ethan quipped to Riley mid-orbit tango. Stars kneel to stubborn welds, not sleek holes. She fired back. Yours leak plasma and promises. Their sparring rewired core logic. Echo, 9 chassis vibrated, synthetic chuckle protocol. Ancestor Tessa logged. Humans upgraded me from killbot to nanny frame. Now I swap sprogs while the yodel docking fails. Progress. Her wit subroutines still blue screen my archives. Gallery thrummed soft as blended clans gathered. Mosaic robes swirling. Sprogs chasing Logan's guitar pick holomoths. Lila knelt for the tiniest, lattice palm, cupping round skull. Hear the chant. Rustwing drifted, twins bluffed doom with tavern hymns. Nova bridged infinities with one giggle. Truth endures because they lived it. Grease black palms, Jess over jump cores. Sprog chirped, mini gauntlet clutched supernova tight. Great grands crooned wreckage reel, salvaging hulks. Lila laughed, starfields beyond viewport winking conspiratorial. Logan did. Armadas inbound? Pluck louder, drown railguns and sour notes. Ethan eye rolled, rhythm locked flawless. Twin HFY. Chaos faint, kinship seal. Unmatched. Echo, 9 sim projected. Logan/Ethan arm wrestling coolant barrels. Riley refereeing, Harper wing shadowing guardian. Romance metrics. Riley Ethan spine lock, logged 400% morale jumps. Harper's wing clasps? 0G verse. Lila's cores warmed lineage deep. Beyond logs. Riley void whispered Ethan. You salvage my ruins daily. He growled reply. Your salvage is mine stellar. Nova lattice caught, galaxy echoed. Forgiveness coded. Chance swelled him soft. Barrett steel, came blaze, Ellis resonance. We remember, we absolve. Shard crescendoed. Nova's cycle voice neural threading. We renew kin endless. Lila rose resolute. Echo log this, sequel saga brewing. Blends farming nebula plots, synthetics comedy circuiting, humans hot wiring constellations. Myths, reb lend, eternal. Echo, 9 optic twinkled. Tessa codicil. Sequel sans pratfall code? Trash reboot. Laughter cascaded gallery. Starfield's approval winking. Lila fired fabricator. Hollow quill sparking virgin cosmic canvas. Genesis core rim pinged. Fresh sprouts signaling. Vaults reawakening blended dusk. But lattice depths flickered alert. Purest remnants decoding elder chains. Shadow fleet ghosts rimward drifting. Reformation teetered. Strain note could snap harmony. Lila paused quill. Gazing triptych, gauntlet scars, strum frozen grin, shard heartbeat. They bluffed universes with heart, she murmured. Hearts hold when circuits fail. Sprogtot tugged sleeve. Saga ante? Tell twins last ruse. Lila scooped him, settling gallery bench, clans circling expectant. Final bluff. Feigned core collapse, baited overlord fangs, twin surge shattered throne. But true HFY? Sierra birthed amid rifts, new life anchoring old light. Jax quipped meatbag 1, logic 0 as core knelt. Echo, 9 projected finale sim. Twins blades rainbowing prism titan, Sierra cradle victorious, Jax servo cheeky. Data verifies. Human irrationality, 97% victory factor. Remainder, luck, love, lunacy. Clan-side reverence mingled chuckles. Elder hybrid leaned, spine soft. Your great-grand's chaos birthed us. How preserve? Lila lifted reforged shard replica, runes dancing palm glow. Live it. Bluff boldly. Love stubbornly. When Genesis whispers renewals, answer heart first. Gallery hummed ascent, blades in new flaring cases. Violet responses to living blood. Echo, 9 chassis harmonized faint. Tessa Echo, myths rust unless sprogs retell. Sequel viable. Outside viewport. Nova Prime's rings caught triple dawn, blended cities sparkling below. Lila's quill resumed. New heroes, fresh bluffs, eternal drifts. Genesis signal strengthened, sprouts galaxy calling. Myths reforged forever. But lattice fringes pinged anomaly. Ancient protocols rearming, purest shadows uncoiling. Eternal drift held watchful.